interesting points about AI, and it says the tech fantasy that powers AI is running on fumes. Again, it's opinion piece, but I think worthy of.
What is it saying?
It is saying, again, it's opinion piece. It's saying the tech fantasy that powers AI is running on fumes. It does point, because it's pointing to what it's not doing for some businesses and industries, like it's underperforming, and then it's talking about what it is being used for that is good. So it is an interesting article nonetheless.
I have a New York Times, so I'm going to read it. So I appreciate it. Like the only thing I'll say about AI, and just because, Your Honor was saying, every one of my colleagues that works in cybersecurity that talks about what's going on in their organization is like, yeah, marketing is pushing this. But then when you talk to, us tech nerds or cybersecurity nerds, we're like, that's a bad thing because of exposure of proprietary, or the trade secrets and things of that nature. So as much as we hear that AI is, people, and organizations are using it, one of the biggest things is that, organizations being slow to adopt it full-fledged because of the possibility of sensitive data being leaked out into the platform. One way around it may be, people, they either subscribe or close and get their, build out their own AI infrastructures. But I do think that AI has kind of hit a wall right now. Is like, and it's a new hurdle that they need and a new challenge that they need to get past, because the other thing too is you have copyright holders saying we don't want our works fed into these models, and then you have the other side saying, well, that's the only way we're going to make these language models better. So, I think that we are kind of at a crossroads with AI.
And I think the problem, I read that article, Scotty. It's definitely a good article. I appreciate that you're sharing it. I think that the thing that's going on with AI is there's sort of wild overhyping, like wild overhyping. And it's can't come anywhere close to producing what it's claimed. Like all these things about AGI and the robots are going to think for themselves, or that the LLMs can even think on their own right now. Like all of that is just nonsense. Like that's just not even how the technology works. And for anyone who actually understands how these, like the transformer models actually operate, it doesn't add up. Like it just doesn't make sense. And there's potential for, okay, if we could solve this problem, maybe they could get closer. That's real. But that's not like happening right now either. So, and then there's people who hear the hype and know it's hype, and so then they basically say AI isn't worth anything. And then they overstate it and they go, oh, it's just a bunch of bullshit. They can't do anything that they say that they can do. And there actually is a happy in between where you can use it to accelerate work that you do. I do it all the time in my work. It's useful, but you shouldn't expect that it's going to give you an output that's going to be perfect. You shouldn't expect it to do calculations because that's not really what it's for. Like you should understand that it's a big probability machine, which means that as long as it knows what it has training data that informs it, it will probably get things right, but not necessarily. And people just need to understand like what its limitations and capabilities actually are and right size their expectations. But the AI hype that article points out is so overblown, it really gets in the way of people understanding its best use.
There's going to be market correction next year for sure.
So like the internet and like storage capacity and like different epochs of the digital revolution, AI seems to be growing steadily. In fact, I would say geometrically, and finding its way into all sorts of professions like law and medicine. Apparently, it has a pretty good track record with diagnosis.
Oh, did you read the article?
I only see that increasing
geometrically.
Did you read the article? Yeah. Because we're referencing the article, which actually backs up your points a lot in the medicine field. So you should read the article before just throwing out shit.
I'm not throwing out shit. I'm just giving you the report on AI. I'm not throwing out any shit.
Okay, cool. Anyway, it's a great article. You should read it because it backs up some of your points.
It has a paywall behind it.
but I would love to know what the AI has been life changing for me.
You rich, Matt. Go ahead and pay for
Just
it.
pay for it with the little free medical shit you got, man. What the hell?
Yeah,
Don't be
there's a
cheap
way-
like that. Help the economy,
That's
you
a good
There's a
guys.
way to do it.
That's good. That's a good idea. This guy, yeah, hold on real quick. Hold on, let me yell at my wife and tell her to do this. Okay, I'm accessing it now.
Tell somebody at your house help to sign you up.
What have you been using it for, Matt? You can get a digital time subscription for about $4 a week, which isn't bad. What have you been using AI for, Matt?
Is it? It was interesting. I wrote a song and produced it all in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I could write a song about this room and people in it, have it produced in 5 minutes. Matter of fact, I can do it
one
right
right
now. Do it right now. I want to hear it. So
That's more like a toy, or you could, I guess,
start the watch.
And I want the hook to go Andre.
This one's going to be just as much filth as he is.
1:06 p.m. Pacific, 4:06 Eastern. Go.
Do
We expect a song by 4:11 Eastern.
Come on, El Normo. Give us what you got. Give us what you got. Come on.
What, singing?
No. What? Okay.
That was
Trump
Matt
is coming.
talking.
Yeah,
That was
he's
Matt
coming
talking.
out now.
Okay, mute everybody.
Yeah, Matt's about to drop some bars.
I tell you, what
He's
you
really
got for
outside in the
economy.
Rose Garden.
Do you see all these American flags? Jesus.
Oh
that
gosh.
shit sounds cheesy as hell.
That's Hail to the Chiefs. Hail to the Chiefs.
Trump looks good though. He's lost some weight. He got a new hairstylist.
Yes. I wonder if his hairstylist is gay.
Man, stop.
Somebody's playing the Larry David Trivia Enthusiasm song on
1:06 p.m. Pacific.
Why is he outside? It's cold outside.
We expect a song.
It's the sign of strength.
Thank you very much.
Can y'all hear this?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, what a good-looking group of people. Well, we have some very, very good news today, and
Hurry up and get to the news, old man. What the fuck?
my fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day, waiting for a long time. April 2nd, 2025 will forever be remembered as the day American industry was reborn, the day America's destiny was reclaimed, and the day that we began to make America wealthy again. We're gonna make it wealthy, good and wealthy. For decades, our country has been looted, pillaged, raped, and plundered by nations near and far, both friend and foe alike. American steel workers, auto workers, farmers, and skilled craftsmen. We have a lot of them here with us today. They really suffered gravely. They watched in anguish as foreign leaders have stolen our jobs, foreign cheaters have ransacked our factories, and foreign scavengers have torn apart our once beautiful American dream. We had an American dream that you don't hear so much about. You did 4 years ago, and you are now, but you don't too often, for many years and decades even, you didn't hear too much about. Our country and its taxpayers have been ripped off for more than 50 years, but it is not going to happen anymore. It's not going to happen. In a few moments, I will sign a historic executive order instituting reciprocal tariffs on countries throughout the world. Reciprocal. That means they do it to us.
Denying reciprocal? God damn, hurry up, you piece of...
This is one of the most important days, in my opinion, in American history. It's our declaration of economic independence. For years, hardworking American citizens were forced to sit on the sidelines as other nations got rich and powerful, much of it at our expense. But now it's our turn to prosper, and in so doing, use trillions and trillions of dollars to reduce our taxes and pay down our national debt, and it'll all happen very quickly. With today's action, we are finally going to be able to make America great again, greater than ever before. Jobs and factories will come roaring back into our country, and you see it happening already. We will supercharge our domestic industrial base. We will pry open foreign markets and break down foreign trade barriers. And ultimately, more production at home will mean stronger competition and lower prices for consumers. This will be indeed the golden age of America. It's coming back. We're going to come back very
Didn't you
strong.
say that last time?
We're pleased to be joined on this momentous occasion by Vice President J.D. Vance. J.D., thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. What are you, J.D.? No, that wasn't too hard to find. I was looking, he likes to take a low-key attitude, so it'd usually be sitting right in front. He's gaining a lot of confidence, Mike, isn't it? And nearly my entire cabinet is here, as well as Speaker Mike Johnson has done an amazing
Song is
job.
ready.
And with the great success we had last night in Florida, we have a majority of 7. And 7's like a lot when we had it at 1, right? You've done a fantastic job. And many of the members of the House and Senate are with us. Senators, Congressmen, thank you all for being with us. We appreciate it. For decades, the United States slashed our trade barriers with other countries, while those nations placed massive tariffs on our products and created outrageous non-monetary barriers to decimate our industry.
Stay on code! This is not staying on code! Stop playing old man orange bag!
Subsidized their exports, stole our intellectual property, imposed exorbitant VAT taxes to disadvantage our products, adopted unfair rules and technical standards, and created filthy pollution havens. They were absolutely filthy, but they always
Pollution havens.
we should pay for it. It's all detailed in a very big report by the U.S. Trade Representative on foreign trade barriers, and I'll just hold it up for you. It's available, and you don't have to pay too much, as I understand. You pay nothing. It's a lot of work for something, actually, because it's a special book. It's frankly, very upsetting when you read it, when you see what people have been doing to us for 30 years. This all happened with no response from the United States of America, none whatsoever. But those days are over. Let me offer just a few examples of the vicious attacks our workers have faced for so many years. The United States charges other countries only a 2.4 tariff on motorcycles. Meanwhile, Thailand and others are charging much higher prices, like 60%. India charges 70%. Vietnam charges 75%, and others are even higher than that. Likewise, until today, the United States has for decades charged a 2.5 tariff. Think of that, 2.5% on foreign-made automobiles. The European Union charges us more than 10% tariffs, and they have 20% VATs, much, much higher. India charges 70%, and perhaps worst of all are the non-monetary restrictions imposed by South Korea, Japan, and very many other nations. As a result of these colossal trade barriers, 81% of the cars in South Korea are made in South Korea. 94% of the cars in Japan are made in Japan. Toyota sells 1 million foreign-made automobiles into the United States, and General Motors sells almost none. Ford sells very little. None of our companies are allowed to go into other countries. And I say that, friend and foe. And in many cases, the friend is worse than the foe in terms of trade. But such horrendous imbalances have devastated our industrial base and put our national security at risk. I don't blame these other countries at all for this calamity. I blame former presidents and past leaders who weren't doing their job. They let it happen. And they let it happen to an extent that nobody can even believe. That's why, effective at midnight, we will impose a 25% tariff on all foreign-made automobiles. for a second, okay?
You know, like that guy who negotiated the USMCA, that piece of shit.
And he understands this business a lot better than the economists, a lot better than anybody. Brian, say a few words, please, would you? Thank you. It's a great honor to have you. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. President. I grew up just north of Detroit, Michigan, in Macomb County, known as the home of the Reagan Democrats.
He's not going to give any details of these tariffs, is he?
Reagan, I thought that was going to be the best president I ever saw in my lifetime until Donald J. Trump came along. I watched plant after plant after plant in Detroit and in the Metro Detroit area close. There are now plants sitting idle. There are now plants that are underutilized. And Donald Trump's policies are going to bring product back into those underutilized plants. There's going to be new investment. There's going to be new plants built. And the UAW members, and I brought 20 of them with me, they're sitting right over here.
Like that guy who negotiated. That's right. I'd almost start to listen to Reese's Math song. That
100%. So, Mr. President, we can't thank you enough. And in 6 months or a year, we're going to begin to see the benefits. I can't wait to see what's happening 3 or 4 years down the road. Thank you, Mr. President.
What a great guy. He got it right from the beginning. He got it before almost anybody else. This group over there, they got it too. And, we won the state of Michigan. We won almost all of them. But we won Michigan by a lot. And I want to just thank you all. The auto workers were fantastic. The Teamsters were fantastic. Everyone was pretty good, I will tell you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You're going to be very happy very soon, and you probably see what's happening with all of the, not only car companies, but car companies in particular. They see it with all of the ones they're moving, they're announcing day in, day out. You're seeing it. Nobody's ever seen anything like that. With today's actions, we're also standing up for our great farmers and ranchers who are brutalized by nations all over the world. Brutalized.
like how the USAID got killed and something our farmers suffering from that. Is that what he said?
Tariff on many of our dairy products. They do the first can of milk. They do the first little carton of milk at a very low price, but after that it gets bad, and then it gets up to 275, 300%. So when they're figuring what's Canada charging, they say, oh, about 2%, 3%. But take a look at what happens down the road. When you look a little bit, it's not a pretty picture, and we don't like it, and it's not fair. It's not fair to our farmers. It's not fair to our country. And with countries like Canada, we subsidize a lot of countries and keep them going and keep them in business. In the case of Mexico, it's $300 billion a year. In the case of Canada, it's close to $200 billion a year. And I say, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? I mean, at what point do we say, you got to work for yourselves, and this is why we have the big deficits. This is why we have that amount of debt that's been placed on our heads over the last number of years, and we're really not taking it anymore. Through non-tariff barriers, the European Union bans imports of most American poultry. You understand? They say, we want to send you our cars, we want to send you everything, but we're not going to take anything that you have. Australia bans, and they're wonderful people and wonderful everything, but they ban American beef, yet we imported $3 billion of Australian beef from them just last year alone. They won't take any of our beef. They don't want it because they don't want it to affect their farmers. And you know what? I don't blame them, but we're doing the same thing right now, starting about midnight tonight, I would say. And China charges American rice farmers an overquota, it's called, a tariff rate of 65%. South Korea charges 50%. Actually, they charge different, from 50% to 513%. And Japan, our friend, charges us 700%. But that's because they don't want us selling rice and other things. Who can blame them, Madam Secretary? Agriculture, great job you did on eggs, by the way.
That's how racist.
You got them down 50%. Once we got involved, they were going through the sky. The egg prices, they were going through the sky, and you did a fantastic job. Now we have lots of eggs, and they're much cheaper, down about 59% now, and they're going down further. We charge 2.8% for so many things that other countries are charging 200%, 300%, and 400% for. If imposing tariffs and protective barriers made nations poor, then every country on earth would be racing to eliminate these policies, and China would be the first in line. They run a very strong country, but they're not first in line, and the American people are paying a very big price. From 1789 to 1913, we were a tariff-backed nation, and the United States was proportionately the wealthiest it has ever been. So wealthy, in fact, that in the 1880s, they established a commission to decide what they were going to do with the vast sums of money they were collecting. We were collecting so much money so fast, we didn't know what to do with it. Isn't that a nice problem to have? What do you think, Marco? Good problem? Marco would love that problem. But we don't have that problem anymore, but we're not going to have it very much longer, I will tell you. But they collected so much money, they actually formed a commission to determine what they were going to do with the money, who they were going to get it to, and how much. Then in 1913, for reasons unknown to mankind, they established the income tax so that citizens, rather than foreign countries, would start paying the money necessary to run our government. Then in 1929, it all came to a very abrupt end with the Great Depression, and it would have never happened if they had stayed with the tariff policy. It would have been a much different story. They tried to bring back tariffs to save our country, but it was gone. It was gone. It was too late. Nothing could have been done. It took years and years to get out of that depression, far longer than even FDR had that office right over there for a long period of time. The ramp system that's rather intricate was built because of him, and every time you walk up, you think of him, and he did a great job in many ways, but it lasted long beyond his terms, as you know. But it's not too late any longer, and we're going to start being smart, and we're going to start being very wealthy again. We're going to be wealthy as a country because they've taken so much of our wealth away from us. We're not going to let that happen. We truly can be very wealthy. We can be so much wealthier than any country. It's not even believable, but we're getting smart. Nearly a century later, in the face of unrelenting economic warfare, the United States can no longer continue with a policy of unilateral economic surrender. We cannot pay the deficits of Canada, Mexico, and so many other countries.
You still haven't gotten any details.
We take care of countries all over the world. We pay for their military. We pay for everything they have to pay. And then when you want to cut back a little bit, they get upset that you're not taking care of them any longer. But we have to take care of our people, and we're going to take care of our people first. And I'm sorry to say that. And today we're standing up for the American worker, and we are finally putting America first. In sleepy Joe Biden's last year in office, the United States averaged 100,000 manufacturing jobs, and the number was going through the roof at levels never seen before. And our trade deficit reached a record $1.2 trillion, which is unheard of. Since the beginning of NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made, it was a horror show. I was able to terminate it. They all said you'd never be able to get it out. We had to get approval from Congress to get it terminated. We had to live with that deal. It was the worst trade deal ever made by far. But since the very beginning of NAFTA, our country lost 90,000 factories. Think of what that is, 90,000. Think about putting a map up and putting text on it. You wouldn't have enough room. 90,000. I said, is that possible? We had it checked 4 different times, and it was actually somewhat higher than that. And 5 million manufacturing jobs were lost while racking up trade deficits of $19 trillion. That was the worst trade deal ever made. As a result of these gigantic losses, foreign nations now own $26 trillion more of American assets than think of this, than the Americans own of their own foreign assets or other foreign assets. The United States can no longer produce enough antibiotics to treat our sick. We have a tremendous problem. We have to go to foreign countries to treat our sick. If anything ever happened from a war standpoint, we wouldn't be able to do it. We import virtually all of our computers, phones, televisions, and electronics. We used to dominate the field, and now we import it all from different countries. A single shipyard in China now produces more ships every year than all of the American shipyards combined. Think of that. And it was a business that we used to dominate. We used to dominate it totally. In short, chronic trade deficits are no longer merely an economic problem. They're a national emergency that threatens our security and our very way of life. It's a very great threat to our country. And for these reasons, starting tomorrow, the United States will implement reciprocal tariffs on other nations. It's been a long time since we even thought of that. We used to think about it a lot. We didn't think about it for many decades, and you see what's happened. For nations that treat us badly, we will calculate the combined rate of all their tariffs, non-monetary barriers, and other forms of cheating. And because we are being very kind, we're kind people, very kind. You're not so kind when you got ripped off salaries. My auto worker friends and my Teamster friends and all of the unions that typically voted Democrat, they're not voting Democrat anymore because whether the union or non-worker, they're for the Republicans now. That's what but we will charge them about half of what they are and have been charging us. So the tariffs will be not a full reciprocal. I could have done that, yes, but it would have been tough for a lot of countries who didn't want to do that. I'd like to see the chart if you have it. You bring it up, Howard. This is our great Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick.
You did it, Joe.
So, if you look
We
at
did it, Joe.
China, 67%. That's tariffs
It's getting right.
charged to the USA, including currency manipulation and trade barriers. So, 67%. I think you can, for the most part, see it. Those with good eyes, with bad eyes. We didn't want to bring, it's very windy out here. We didn't want to bring out the big charts because it had no chance of standing. Fortunately, we came armed with a little smaller chart. So 67%, so we're going to be charging a discounted reciprocal tariff of 34%. I think, in other words, they charge us, we charge them less. So how can anybody be upset? They will be because we never charge anybody anything, but now we're going to charge. European Union, they're very tough, very, very tough traders. You think of European Union, very friendly. They rip us off. It's so sad to see. It's so pathetic. 39%. We're going to charge them 20%, so we're charging them essentially half. Vietnam, great negotiators, great people. They like me, I like them. The problem is they charge us 90%. We're going to charge them 46% tariff.
Okay, sneakerheads, your Nike's about to go up.
They took all of our computer chips and semiconductors. We used to be the king, right? We were everything. We had all of it. Now we have almost none of it, except the biggest company is coming in. We're going to end up with almost 40%. Lee Zeldin's working to get their approvals. And it's an amazing company. Mr. Wei, one of the great companies of the world, actually. They're coming in from Taiwan, and they're going to build one of the biggest plants in the world, maybe the biggest. But 64%, we're going to charge them 32%. Japan, very, very tough. Great people. And again, I don't blame the people for doing it. I think they're very smart in doing it. I blame the people that sat right in that Oval Office, right over there, right behind the Resolute desk or whichever desk they chose. Japan, 46%. They would charge us 46%, and much higher for certain items like cars. Little items like cars. 46%. We're charging them 24%. India, very, very tough. Very, very tough. The Prime Minister just left. He's a great friend of mine, but I said, you're a friend of mine, but you're not being treating us right. They charge us 52%. You have to understand, we charge them almost nothing for years and years and decades. And it was only 7 years ago when I came in, we started with China and charged them. We took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China in tariffs. And they understood, honestly. President Xi understood. He said, look, I understand. And the other countries, and they all understand. We're going to have to go through a little tough love, maybe, but they all understand. They're ripping us off, and they understood it. Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo was Shinzo Abe. He was a fantastic
Oh
man.
my
He
God.
was unfortunately taken from us, assassination.
This is a long list.
But
I
I
hope
went
you
to
don't
him and
plan
I
on
said,
reading all
"Shinzo,
of this.
we have to do something, and trade is not fair." He said, I know that. And he was a great gentleman. He was a fantastic man, but
Oh.
he understood immediately what I was talking about. I said, Shinzo, we have to do something. He said, I know that. And we worked out a deal, and it would have been a much better deal, but frankly, there were many years left on the deal that was made previous to my getting there, but it was something.
Yeah.
If you look at Switzerland, 61% to 31%. Indonesia, Malaysia, Cambodia. Oh, look at Cambodia now. We're going to bring it down to 49. They made a fortune with the United States of America. United Kingdom, 10%, and we'll go 10%. So we'll do the same thing. South Africa, 60%, 30%. They've got some bad things going on in South Africa. You know, we're paying
Just
them
play the song I wrote.
millions of dollars to cut the funding because a lot of bad things are
Matt,
happening.
what program did you use? Put in the chat, please.
I want to report it. Brazil, 10%, 10%. Bangladesh is 74%. So you see what's going on. Pakistan, 58%. Sri Lanka, 88%. So what we're doing is we're taking not the full, we can take the full 88%. Thanks a lot. He's doing a very good job. How's he doing, huh? I think you better take it with you. It's not going to last very long. He's going to put it, it's going to follow you down with the wind. I brought a hat just in case it got too windy, but here, would anybody like a hat? I'm not giving it to a cabinet. I'm giving it to the auto workers. Come here.
There you go.
Thank you, fellas. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
That's it. You got it. You got it.
They deserve it more than our cabinet. Our cabinet has plenty of hats. But you see the numbers. The numbers are so disproportionate. They're so unfair. At the same time, we will establish a minimum baseline tariff of 10%. You notice that on the chart? And that'll be on other countries to help rebuild our economy and to prevent cheating. So we're going to have a minimum of cheating, and we're going to be very severe on the people that at the gate that watch the tariffs and watch the product coming in, because there's been a lot of bad things happening at the gate because the money is so enormous.
Right, Trump, that's enough
There's never
now.
been probably anything like it in terms of the enormity.
session, get some
And
dinner
there are a
sometime.
lot of bad
Maybe
things
have a
happening.
Heineken
The
bite?
people that do the check-in, and they're looking at 10-year jail sentences if they do. We're going to treat them so
Just
good,
call
but
me
if they
on
cheat,
Clown House that
the repercussions are going to be extremely strong. Foreign nations will finally be asked to pay for the privilege of access to our market, the biggest market in the world. We're right now the biggest market in the world. We had a great country 4 years ago in terms of the economics. We were doubling up on China. We were doing so well. Nobody was going to catch us, but so much of it slipped away over the last 4 years under Biden. I campaigned on this policy throughout last year, and today that promise was made, and it was also a promise, as you know, that was kept. Promises made, promises kept. To any company that objects to our common sense reciprocal tariffs, again, reciprocal, back and forth, and I call this kind reciprocal. This is not full reciprocal. This is kind reciprocal. But what we do is we cut it in half. We charge them. My answer is very simple. If they complain, if you want your tariff rate to be zero, then you build your product right here in America, because there's no tariff if you build your plant, your product in America.
That's how you do it, Trump.
Companies coming in like we've never seen before.
Mhm.
Likewise to all of the foreign presidents, prime ministers, kings, queens, ambassadors, and everyone else who will soon be calling to ask for exemptions from these tariffs. I say, terminate your own tariffs, drop your barriers, don't manipulate your currencies. They manipulate their currencies like nobody can even believe, which is a bad thing and very devastating to us. And start buying tens of billions of dollars of American goods. Tariffs give our country protection against those that would do us economic harm. And many people were looking to do us economic harm. Maybe not
Oh, my
so
ADHD is kicking up.
obviously, but they were doing tremendous economic harm. But even more importantly,
This song.
these tariffs are going to give us growth like you haven't seen before, and it'll be something very special to watch. I am so looking forward, and Brian, it's going to happen even faster than you said. You know, you might say, but it's already started. It's already started. Work's already begun on plants all around the country, and you see that as before. These are big, rich companies. We have $61 billion started on a big plant going up. It's going to be announced over the next 2 days, and they already started work. Many of these the biggest companies in the world, they've committed to build. We're going to build, sir. And they came here to see me, and they wanted to know if they could have a press conference. I do as many as I can. I'm pretty busy trying to stop Russia and Ukraine and the Middle East. We got to stop that. We're going to stop
That was going to be stopped in 24 hours.
Tremendous. They like shooting ships down out of the water.
I mean, he's dropping bombs in Yemen now. I mean, where we all threatening Iran with, like, you know, drone attacks, like, you know. Warmonger president, this guy.
Here are just a short list of some of the companies that have already announced and committed to investment.
Nazi's working for him.
Hush,
I don't know who you think is.
Wait.
China.
Why? Is that El Normo? Why are you talking?
$100 billion. They never spent money like that here. They're going to build their plants here. SoftBank, OpenAI, and Oracle, great companies, are investing $500 billion almost immediately. NVIDIA, a hot company, is investing hundreds of billions of dollars. They just announced TSMC, the important company in the world of chips from Taiwan, with no investment from us, is investing $200 billion. And they said the reason was, number one, the election of November 5th, and number two, the tariffs. They don't want to pay the tariffs, and the way they're not paying it is to build their plant here. So we're going to go from almost no percentage. We used to have 100% of the chip market. Now it's all in Taiwan. Almost all of it's in Taiwan. A couple of other countries, but mostly in Taiwan. And think of it. We had 100%. We lost it because of people in that office that didn't do their job. They allowed it to be stolen from us. Johnson & Johnson, great company, $55 billion. Eli Lilly, $27 billion. Meta is investing $500 billion. Wow. DeMac is investing $20 billion. CMA, CGM, $20 billion. And then you have Clarios, Stellantis, General Motors, GE Aerospace, Honda, Nissan, Hyundai are all putting in billions and billions of dollars, and they're committed 100%. And we've never had, and this is after 2.5 months. This is after just a short, this all took place as soon as we came out with what everybody wanted to do. You know, I watched a gentleman today on television. He used to work with Lee Iacocca, a very respected automobile person, and he said, you know, because they're asking people, they try and get as many negative people as they can, but they can't find them too much. It's pretty hard to find in terms of what we're doing, especially when they see all this investment. They said, so tell me, what do you think of what Trump is doing from the automobile standpoint? He said, I can't believe it. Somebody is finally, he's an older guy, real pro, really top guy, with Lee Iacocca. He said, I never thought I'd see the day when this would happen, where somebody had the courage to go and do what has to be done. This is transforming our nation. Our entire nation is going to be transformed, not only with the cars, but in every single other item that's built. We're going to become an industrial.
Definitely is transformation.
Today. In fact, I'm going to find out. I'm going to get a tape. And Bruce, I'm going to get that tape, and I'm going to send it to you out in Long Island, and you're going to play it for the people. And all your union workers and your non-union workers out there, you got a pretty even split. But we have, so far, it looks like we're going to have about $6 trillion of investments, and you wouldn't do that in years in this country over the last number of years. $6 trillion, and that's going to be much higher by the end of the year. And think of what $6 trillion is. You wouldn't have even a small percentage of that under this other system. We're going to be an entirely different country, and it's going to be fantastic for the workers. It's going to be fantastic for everyone. There will never have been a transformation.
The S&P is down 4%.
Transformation that's already happening. in the United States of America. It's an incredible thing to watch, and it's incredible to meet with the top people that you read about, very wealthy people or people that are great managers and executives and presidents of big public companies, and to watch the enthusiasm they have now that they didn't have. They gave up on our country.
Oh my God.
They built. Companies are pouring into our country at levels never seen before, with jobs and money to follow, and it's really beautiful.
All right,
In the coming
listen
days, there will be complaints from the globalists and the outsourcers and special interests, and the fake news. Fake news will always complain.
That's right,
But
Trump.
never forget, every prediction our opponents made about trade for the last 30 years has been proven totally wrong. They were wrong about NAFTA. They were wrong about China. They were wrong about the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which would have been a disaster if I didn't terminate it. If I didn't terminate that, United Auto Workers, you would have had no jobs in this country. You would have had no jobs. It was all going to other countries. In my first term, they said tariffs would crash the economy. Instead, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world. And again, I have great respect for President Xi of China, great respect for China, but they were taking tremendous advantage of us, and I commend them for that.
Yeah, we got what we needed.
Cannot wait for maggots to get poorer. Can't wait.
I put this in the chat, but taking credit for large companies investing in their growth is like taking credit for the sun rising because you said that you were going to make more income the next day.
So you know what you're getting into. With thousands of offers, Credit Karma curates relevant options for you.
Down, those factories will be knocked down, and they're going to have brand new factories built in their place. They're not only talking about renovating, they're talking about brand new, the best anywhere in the world, the biggest anywhere in the world. I have a friend who builds car plants, and I said, I want to see the biggest and the best. He said, well, we have to go to Mexico. I said, no, I want to see it in the United States. He said, we're not building them in there. This is a year and a half ago during the campaign. He said, we're not building it. You have to go to Mexico. When I was starting to decide to run, and I went to number one in the polls very rapidly, let's say in the first hour, and then shortly thereafter, it looked like I was going to win, and the fake news was saying, oh, no, don't do this. What they don't know is if I didn't win, they would have really been in trouble, because nobody wants to read them anyway. But I tell you what, when it looked like I was going to win, I announced that I was going to be doing exactly what we're talking about today. Great consistency, actually, because I've been talking about it for 40 years. But because I saw what was happening 40 years ago. If you look at my old speeches when I was young, very handsome, my old speeches, and that people would say I'd be on a television show, I'd be talking about how we were being ripped off by these countries. I mean, nothing changes very much. The only thing that changed were the countries, but nothing really changes. But it's why it's such an honor. It's such an honor to be finally able to do this. If you look at China, I took in hundreds of billions of dollars in my term, hundreds of billions. They never paid 10 cents to any other president, and yet they paid hundreds of billions, so much so that Biden couldn't do anything. They wanted to try and terminate it because he had a very special relationship with China. You know what the relationship was? He had a special relationship. But the numbers were so big. The numbers were so big that they couldn't do it. So they did ease it up. They did things that they shouldn't have done. They made it a lot more comfortable for them, but they couldn't do it because the numbers were hundreds of billions of dollars, and I did that. And we were on our way to doing something like incredible. And then we had a very bad election happen, a lot of bad things happened. So when I said we got to do it again, I said we have to make it too big to rig, and we made it too big to rig, and we won in records, and it was a monumental win. And it was such an honor to see so many of you, like Brian and your friends, here with us to celebrate, and to more importantly celebrate what we're doing, because that wouldn't be a full celebration if we didn't do this, because this will be an entirely different country in a short period of time. It'll be something the whole world will be talking about it. The critics made the very tired predictions earlier this year, but in February, core inflation dropped to the lowest rate in 4 years. And the price of eggs, as you know, just in a month and a half, we were there for 4 weeks. And the first week I got blamed for eggs. I said, they said eggs have gone up at like 250% and you can't get eggs. And they were going crazy. And I said, I just got here. And then we got to work on eggs, and we got to work on everything. And our great Secretary of Agriculture, you did a fantastic job. Brooke Rollins, she did a fantastic job. And as I said before, the price of eggs dropped now 59%, and they're going down more, and the availability is fantastic. They were saying that for Easter, please don't use eggs. Could you use plastic eggs? I said, we don't want to do that. We want to, and you really came through. It's an amazing job. Thank you very much, Brooke. You did great. But likewise, an old-fashioned term that we use, groceries. I used it in the campaign. It's such an old-fashioned term, but a beautiful term, groceries. It sort of says a bag with different things in it. Groceries went through the roof, and I campaigned on that. I talked about the word groceries for a lot. And energy costs now are down, groceries are down, gasoline is way under $3, and people are beginning to be able to buy things and live again. We brought prices way down. We created 10,000 already in a few weeks, new manufacturing jobs, and it was that took place in 1 month, numbers that they haven't seen in a long time. We had virtually no inflation under my term. We had virtually no inflation for 4 years. But after transitioning over to Sleepy Joe, it went from almost non-existent to the highest in the history of our country. They had the highest inflation in the history of our country, brought up by energy and bad spending and bad policy, and a lot of bad things happened. How about allowing millions and millions and millions of people to pour into our country with open borders, where it's so sad to see even now. And I see our great secretary of you have done. Stand up, please, Christy. Stand up. Christy Noem and Tom Holman. These people are doing a great job, but gotten them out in records. We have problems with judges that don't want them to go out. They want Tren de Aragua, and they want MS-13, the most vicious gangs ever. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Absolute killer gangs. They kill people. They don't even think about it. And we put them out, and we have judges now, radical left judges that they don't want them to go out. They want them to even be brought back. Let's bring them back. You've done a fantastic job, and please thank everybody. Homeland Security, thank everybody. Appreciate it. And we now have a border that's the best border that we've ever had, even better than it was my first term. My first term we did good, but this one we really specialized in. We've done really well. And we had records then. We had the best, safest border. 4 years ago, we had the best border there ever was. And now we have, you've actually matched it and done even better. And we're going to get it down the right way. And we want people, by the way, to come into our country, but we want to come in through a legal process. We want them to come in legally. We need more people. We need people to run these plants and to help the auto workers and the Teamsters and the non-union people and everybody else. But we need people, the farmers. And we're going to let people come in, but they want to come in. We want them to come in legally. They have to have the capability of loving our country, not people that hate our country. We don't want them in our country. And now we're going to pass the largest tax cuts in American history, and that's where we're relying on Mike and John Thune. And we will not cut Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid benefits, and the Democrats will, because if they got in, the entire economy would collapse. This country was heading for a collapse under the people that you saw. They were horrible. I think one of the reasons people like the job, I have my highest approval ratings because I think they're comparing me to the worst administration in the history of our country, so I appreciate that at least. But Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and Senate Majority Leader, appreciate it, Mike. John Thune have been fantastic, by the way. But they've been working tirelessly on taking the next step to pass the plan for our one big, beautiful bill. I'd like to name it that if you can. One big, I made that statement about 6 months ago, and everybody calls it one big, beautiful bill. And it will be that. It'll have everything, the big tax cuts and every incentive there is. And it'll be fantastic. And by the way, for the cars, we're asking for an interest deduction on a loan. So if you build the car, only in America we do it, Brian. If the car's not built in America, you don't get the interest rate deduction. But if you build the car in America, if you buy a car, if it's built in America, then you get an interest rate deduction, tax deduction, and that's a big thing. That's going to be a big thing. I think that's going to pay for itself very quickly, that deduction. Never happened. We've never had anything like that before. Somebody said, where do you get the idea? Because it's so basic. You would think that would have happened a long time ago. It never did, and I'm very happy it didn't, because now I can say that was my idea. But we're going to get us closer to the debt extension. We have to get the debt extension passed, and I know you're going to be able to do that, Mike, and it's very important that you do that. And all of the other things that the Senate budget plan gives us, along with working, because I know they're working together, John and Mike, and the two bills are going very well together. We need to get our shared priorities done, including certain permanent tax cuts. We want the tax cuts to be permanent, spending cuts, energy and historic investments in defense, border, and so much more. We're covering everything. These will be phenomenal. There'll be no bill like this going to straighten. One bill is going to straighten out our country for many, many years to come. And we said, let's just do it and let's get it done. And some guys will love it and some guys will like it a little bit less because they're not getting what they were exactly looking for, but they're getting a lot. They'll never, if we get this done, it'll be the most incredible bill ever passed in the history of our Congress and Senate. And congressmen, the senators and the congressmen, many of whom are here today, will be very proud of themselves. I really believe that. It's going to set us on a whole new prosperous path. We're going to cut spending and right-size the budget back to where it should be. We're going to do that very strongly. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, John. Thank you. Oh, look at all of our senators over there. Oh, boy. That's a nice group of people. But I won't like them so much if they don't get this bill done. That's a great group, and Congressman, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Tremendous people. The Senate plan is my complete and total support, and the House plan likewise is very similar. They're moving along pretty much at the same clip, and as soon as you're ready, you'll show it to me, and I'm sure it'll have my support, Mike. Every Republican congressman and senator must unify. We have to unify. We can't be separated. We have to get it done. We have to get absolutely everything we can, and we have to take care of the American people. That's the only thing that matters. We have to take care of the American people first. We need to pass this bill immediately, get it done, including debt extension. From this day on, we're not going to let anyone tell us that American workers and families cannot have the future that they deserve. We're going to produce the cars and ships, chips, airplanes, minerals, and medicines that we need right here in America. The pharmaceutical companies are going to become roaring back. They're coming roaring back. They're all coming back to our country because if they don't, they got a big tax to pay. And if they do, I'll be very happy, and you're going to be very happy, and you're going to be very safe. We're going to build our future with American hands, with American heart, American steel, and we're going to build it with American pride like we used to. We're approaching our 100th day as president and have been given credit by a lot of people, actually, even some of the fake news. Can you believe it? Which in this case hopefully isn't fake, for having done more in that time than any other administration in the history of our country in the first 100 days. I think we've had an amazing, in terms of what we've done, what we've gotten accomplished. I'd like to see if we can get that war ended and another war from not starting in the Middle East. We have to get Russia. They're losing 2,000 on average, 2,500 people a day, young people, soldiers, Russian. Think of that, 2,500 through some days, but on average, probably over about a 1 week period, it's 2,700.
We need it?
Yeah. Oh, I think we need ketchup too.
What's in there?
Here.
100 being decimated, and they're not from our country, but they're from other countries, but they're human beings. They're from Russia, they're from Ukraine in this period, most of them, and we're going to get it stopped. It's a senseless war that would have never happened if I was president, and it shouldn't be allowed to go on. And I think we're being given good cooperation by Russia and by Ukraine, but we have to get it stopped. It's humanity. humanity. It's a terrible thing. This will be a very big moment. I think you're going to remember today. It's going to be a free nation that we're dealing with. We're going to have a very free and beautiful nation. It's going to be Liberation Day in America, and it's going to be a day that hopefully you're going to look back in years to come and you're going to say, you know, he was right. This has turned out to be one of the most important days in the history of our country. God bless you and God bless America. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Liberation Day, Liberty, Revolution. Okay, I'm gonna take you back to Clown House, where we're gonna listen to the clowns all talk like a bunch of talking apes, aka birds chirping, talking about nothing, wasting all their time. I'm gonna go stretch. I'm gonna go for a nice exercise, and then I'll be back in like an hour. But without further ado, I bring you back to the pit of hell, known as Clown House, where despair, anxiety, depression, low IQ are rampant.
That may not be having voices put to them. The notion that, well, this will magically bring manufacturing back, companies back to America, and specifically in the big one is the auto sector, where I just get this tangerine tainted person doesn't know anything about the auto industry. He doesn't, from where I sit anyway. But what I will share, what I shared earlier this morning, one of the other paths, as I found out what a project that I was working on that got put on the shelf. You look at the investment that it takes to bring a simple, well, on the appearance, a simple vehicle to market. All the billions of dollars, all the, just everything that is involved. There's a reason why cars are made in various places around the world. Him saying American cars, mofo, there are several Buick models that are made in China and that are imported back here. There are, other vehicles made in Mexico, brought here, et cetera, et cetera. But the program that I was on, what I was getting to is that I was told, one reason why I'm home today and off is that the program that I was part of, being a designer on, got put on the shelf because the manufacturer looked at the numbers, and they kind of already had this in the can as we were continuing to design. But looked at the numbers and said, well, wait a minute. Okay, let's entertain this. How much will it cost for us to either build a completely new factory from scratch or retool one? Then how much is it going to cost us to now, instead of sourcing, using all the vendors and the suppliers in the country where this vehicle is to be manufactured, now we got to source and do all of that here. That will drive up the cost. And they averaged out that at the numbers they were projecting to sell this vehicle in the market segment, it was going to drive it up by 15 grand. And this is a vehicle that wasn't scheduled to come out until 2029. And they looked at the numbers and realized, well, we can't pass that price on to the customer. How many, how could I say, they did the numbers and realized it would be, they basically would be losing money if they actually went ahead. So they told us, me and the other designers, hey, we're putting this program on pause. So instead of quote unquote bringing that vehicle and those jobs back here, they just put it on pause. That is another, another avenue. I was finding out from a colleague today, and he sent me some information sourced from Bloomberg, Mercedes, for example, like some other companies are considering just dropping their entry level cars from the U.S. So I mean, you start digging into the numbers. You start digging into the numbers of what it actually takes to manufacture. I'm not talking about selling. I'm just talking about manufacturing a freaking vehicle. The manufacturing of it, since he keeps harping on that. And then all the little tentacles that go away from that, as I spelled out this morning, it's like a tree with all these different branches. It's not just the car itself from whatever brand that's associated with it. And one of the things that gives me pause when I keep saying this, when I pan out, this is not happening in a freaking bubble. When you pan out, this on top of everything else that I'm seeing this administration do, how many people have been fired? How many people are out of work or will be out of work? Now income is in question, Social Security, the price of consumer goods and everything else around that. So yeah, people are going to be looking at, maybe I'll wait. So if you have all these other outside forces, acting upon it, I just don't see how the buying public will, how this will be good for consumers. Tariffs, consumers pay the tariffs. That's baffling to me. It's like basic civics. With the access to YouTube and the Google, I'm actually kind of flummoxed at some of things that I maybe take for granted as just common knowledge or being common to look up. But dude, I mean, when it comes to manufacturing, bringing this back, and I stopped reading the chat, but some of the things I saw earlier, I am not against people working. How it's being done, and as I said, in context to everything else that's happening, like this whole tit for tat, okay, well, we're gonna put tariffs on these vehicles. You don't think other countries, and I'm gonna pan out for vehicles, but products, goods, services, whatever that's American based to other countries. This orange jackhole doesn't think that other countries won't do the same. I mean, that's where I'm baffled. That's that's like me when I was a kid picking on my little brother, thinking, well, I'm the big brother. I'm going to pick on him. You'll never pick on me. Well, mofo, he's a human being too, until you turn around and whack me in the face. And I stood there like, holy shit. Dude, these are other countries and other businesses. So, there's a way to go about this.
1 second,
sledgehammer? Yeah. All right, my bad, man. Go ahead.
Oh, and I have breaking news because of all of this winning that Americans are supposed to be doing while you're waiting for jobs. Notice that he even had his little fawning person, whoever that was speaking, say, oh, it's going to take about 6 months to a year. So I hope you have those emergency savings set aside. You're already supposed to have at least 6 months worth of salary set aside, even though I believe at least 40% of Americans don't have a random $400 just in case they have an emergency. But surely you guys have more than $400. And oh, look, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. laid off all 10 of the employees that actually help people with the low-income households pay utility bills. So all of the poor seniors, the single moms, the veterans, the disabled, all of those people that used to rely, on this program to just help subsidize their utility bills, because who cares? They don't need air conditioning in the summer. They don't need heat in the winter. They're just going to be winning because they're going to go to work in all of these factories, apparently, that aren't going to be built for a year. So shout out to America and Donald Trump. More winning, y'all. More winning. Yay.
Put yourself up by your old big soul sneakers that you get from times. Blow yourself up.
But who is building all of these factories, or did they send them?
This thing is, they're not like. Imagine you're the CEO of a car company right now. The main thing you're trying to do is to move around the different pieces as much as you can, so that you have as much built in America as you can for your top selling vehicles. That's the first thing you're trying to do, because you don't know how long this is going to happen. But then the next thing is there's this idea that like jobs that were in Pontiac, Michigan 30 years ago belong to Pontiac, Michigan, and that there's just like a bunch of workers sitting in Pontiac waiting for, the parts plant to reopen, and all someone has to do is just, go to the circuit breaker and flip the switch and they're going again. Like, this is not how that works at all. And so there's some ability for some domestic factories to increase production, and that will have some positive impact on like a set of workers in a set of places. But the overall impact on the economy is going to be so negative that it's wildly overwhelmed by that. It's a little bit like the obsession with coal workers, like coal miners, where there's only 40,000 of them left in America, but for some reason they get all this attention that people who do other jobs don't get, even though there's way, way, way more of them. Like, for some reason, people are never seem to be fighting for the waitresses or the bus boys or whatever. So it's not
Trump
like they're going to flip a
stop
switch and
taxing
everything's
gifts,
going to
so
happen
that's
straight away.
exactly
It's just
on
not
point.
going to work like that. Why are you talking over me?
Your
You
Honor,
want to explain why you're talking over me?
Going on?
Oh no, please don't.
Okay, you could do it in the chat. Fuck off.
Your Honor, I have
anyway,
some
my
good
point
news,
is I'm
though.
not going to just flip the switch. Go ahead, Andre, or whoever that was.
No, I was going to say I got some good news. Those CEOs don't have to worry about.
Was Aaron
getting
finished?
people.
I thought it was Andre's
Yeah.
Royal. Go ahead, Royal. My bad.
Yeah, he's just gonna piggyback on what I'm saying. So those CEOs of the Pontiacs and all that, they don't have to worry about anything. Because guess what? No one's gonna buy any cars because no one's gonna have any money.
I just want to say I didn't know I sounded like Royal, but okay.
My bad, man.
Yeah,
It was amidst Norm jumping in and everything else.
Yeah, no, I get it. No. To your point, Your Honor, like that. I think that's the that whole part of how much there's a capital expenditure that these organizations will have to spend in order to bring that type of manufacturing back, and they're not going to do it. Like you said, they're looking out for their best interest. What's the highest producing, product that highest selling product that they produce? They're going to put it here. They're not going to rein everything in just because this guy says that, and that like you said, there's a job, a loss. Used to be in a particular location that is coming back. It's so unrealistic the way that these folks' heads are wired that they think that he's just going to bring it back and it's going to happen overnight. It will take years.
They're not.
That type of effort.
So sorry. All they're looking for is a couple of wins, and to highlight those wins. So there are people that are gonna. It makes sense for them to bring jobs back, right? So all that he's gonna do, get a couple of wins and highlight the fuck out of that, and then keep running on that.
Yeah, I mean, these jokers don't know anything about how business works at all. I mean, Doge just said that all the tools companies have to use the same kind of batteries, and they chose the company that produces the batteries that all of these companies are going to have to use. So, if you've got DeWalt versus Makita versus Stanley Black & Decker, so on and so forth, they all have to use the same batteries now. And they got to choose the company whose battery technology gets used. What do you think the impact of that is going to be? First off, if you're a battery innovator, you're shit out of luck. You now have to work on the old technology to be able to innovate at all, or hope that Doge decides, in their great wisdom, that what you've built is better. Huh? It's the craziest thing. I mean, all these people who talk about, the wonders of capitalism and how it innovates and all this are now all of a sudden the same people who are against allowing free market innovation to take place. These people are just idiots, right? It's all grand. And the problem is
Do you say that Musk doesn't know?
Were you talking over me again? I think you were.
Yeah, weren't you talking, John?
Yeah, I was just about to finish, but he jumped in too early, so he gets to go back in the queue. Go ahead, anybody.
I wanted to hear your point, Your Honor. I wanted you to finish.
Yeah. I mean, my point was basically, if you want battery innovation to happen, choosing one winner for a whole industry or whole sector, of which battery has to be used, is anti-innovation. And and then who gets to set the price? The company that you just granted a monopoly to?
But you know what, though? Biden Harris is the one that was bringing back battery manufacturing under the Inflation Reduction Act. So what, they're going to eat the benefits of what was already put in place.
Did you just say that Musk doesn't know how business works? I feel like these jokers, is that
Didn't say that at
Musk?
all. He didn't say
He
that.
said these jokers, and then he went to Musk.
Oh my God, who cares about Musk? Who cares about Musk?
Musk is a dipshit.
I would venture to say Musk doesn't know how business works.
He doesn't.
He's been sued.
He doesn't know who his customers are.
Yeah, he tried to get like this insane bonus that had to go to the Chancery Court. He was forced to go to the Chancery Court to purchase Twitter at the highest rate ever. Do you know that the Twitter takeover is literally now the most expensive loss of just
We're broke even now. The value's the same now. You're not up to date. The value's the same. It is.
Lost $10 billion. The value is not the same.
Did you look at it 2 weeks ago? It changed.
Private company.
And it's worth 44 now. It's worth 44 now. They just did articles on
He
this.
bought it at 44. He sold it for 33, and it's a private company. So you're literally.
And he has, and there's a stake in what also?
Wait, let her finish. Let her finish first, CEO, and then answer.
Oh,
Go
sounds
ahead.
like a black man in whiteface. It's a
Don't start. Do not start. Don't start. Don't start. I'll come at you right now. Let's go. Let's go, Miki. Let's go.
No.
Leave our resident white black guy alone.
You can get it too. You want to go? Let's go. Let's go. Let's rock.
On the stage. No. Go ahead, Nikki.
Like I said, it's a private company, so the valuations, of course, are going to come from Elon's camp. What we know is what the stock price offer he made for Twitter, which was like, what, ML, like 40% above market share? He went in high. He overpaid for it. It's lost $10 billion, which half of that was probably day one upon acquisition, since the idiot overpaid for it. That's why they made him go back to his original offer, right? And he had to sell Tesla shares in 2022 when it was down like 50%. So he is a stupid businessman. And then he basically did a balance sheet transfer.
He's
because he has investors
the
on both sides
richest
of
man on the planet.
companies.
He's really stupid.
Exactly.
Stupid,
So
exactly.
Mr.
Exactly.
CEO.
What's the value of rock?
Exactly.
What's the value of rock? No, hold on. Let me go. What's the value of rock, Miki?
What you mean? XAI is the one that acquired it. Like I said,
know.
he did a balance
What's
sheet
the
transfer.
share there? What is that value?
What do you mean the share?
Because they have 25%. There's 25.
It's not a public company yet.
The valuation. Okay. Let me
Let her answer the question, and then go right after.
Yeah, it's a private company, so we don't know the share price. This is private equity. They're not getting a share price. They're making capital investments.
The valuation being discussed.
The valuation is always inflated.
Okay. So y'all cut me off. You know what, Annie? Like, I'm just trying to offer some adversary. Good grief. Like, relax, ML. All right. So, what's being discussed is that XAI is worth $44 billion. X had 25% of it, so that's $11 billion. So you take the 33 plus the $11 billion, you're right back at $44 billion.
Okay, now go ahead, ML.
That's some serious funny math, and the problem is that we're talking about pure money here. It was a paper trade, and that's all it was, because guess what? Pre-IPO, every company that says, "Oh, we valued at this," blah blah blah. It's pre-IPO. It's not real. Until you go to IPO, you don't know what the market is actually going to pay for that company. Because it's not. So when you say that, it doesn't make any sense. You said, oh, no, he's lost money on that deal because he bought it at 44 and he did a paper swap for 30-something billion. That's a loss. And plus Twitter wasn't making a profit any goddamn way. So he bought a company that wasn't actually in the black.
Well, I just dropped the link real quick. I just dropped the link. You can look at Yahoo Finance article. There's very many more. It says 44 billion. It says it's back to where it was. Go ahead and disagree with that article. It's a
it's a paper estimate. God, okay.
I understand it's a paper estimate.
CEO.
That's what you have to do to make any estimate you're doing, right? Any claim you make has to be a paper estimate.
No. So you're confusing. XAI has a different valuation than X did.
I know it does.
But you keep saying that XAI is valued at 44 million. 44 million.
It is.
Let her finish.
Let her finish. Y'all not gonna be no right than the other person just because you're speaking over them. Now go ahead.
No, that's what I'm saying. This article dated March 19th said that X now worth 44 billion, which wouldn't make any sense since he literally sold it to his company for 33 billion, and he said that XAI was valued at 80 billion. So you're confusing all of the numbers, right?
Yep.
This is literally what Elon said. Elon said at the time of the paper swap, as ML said, I just say it's a balance sheet purchase, that X was valued at 33 billion, right? 45 billion less 12 billion in debt because the investors still haven't recouped their dollars, which is why he did this. Because probably his investors were pissed because guess what? Tesla shares are now, even though they're on the come up since finally it was announced that he's going to be stepping away from Doge, Tesla is losing money by the bucket. So Elon fanboys, the wealthy ones, are pissed. He's losing the money on the Tesla shares. So they were probably like, look at here, Negroid, South Africaner, you better do something. You better do something. You better do some Enron accounting over here. So yeah, he tried to make it seem as this is wonderful. We're merging the two companies. Like ML said, we know what this crackhead is doing. He did a balance sheet transfer to save his ass, to cut the losses, and make it seem as if, I'm buying my own company at a discount. They're both private companies, boo-boo head.
Now, what about the ownership of XAI? And a percentage of that, are you adding that into the valuation?
It's a private company, just like the only public company.
It's all private.
Tesla.
It's all private.
Tesla is not a private company.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying XAI and X are private.
Say it's all private. They're both private. So is Neuralink. So is Starlink.
And so basically, you're claiming your kind of sideline reporting is better than Financial Times, which is Yahoo Finance is quoting.
That's not what she's saying. That's not what she's saying.
Give me a second. Hold on. CEO. So this article says it's valued at 44 billion, and then it says Fidelity valued it at 12 billion. So I can't understand.
Because CEO, what you fail to understand is that pre-IPO, a company goes to an underwriter, one of the big banks. The big bank comes up with an evaluation based on, say, this is what the market is really going to pay based on your assets. And sometimes the IPO is price. That's the only time you really get a true valuation of and what a company is actually owned. And then when they go IPO, obviously you now know what assets they have and the book value versus their share value. But before that, you just cannot really say like it's real money. It's paper money. It's play money. It's just hypothetical that you would assign a number to a company because you're investing it under that valuation. You're saying the company's worth this much money, but we all know it's a paper drill. It's not real.
I hear you. Now, if you want to relax, the one thing you're missing from this is that Musk allocated 25% of XAI to X. Are you following me? Are you with me on that? Yes or no?
Yes, we don't. We're not arguing that point. The point is
Okay,
that we're
now-
saying that he lost.
ML, can
the
you
money.
relax?
That's
Can
all,
you
bro.
relax? Can you relax? Just
Oh,
back and
I'm
forth.
relaxed.
Just
I'm
back
black
forth.
and relaxed.
All right, so just back and forth. Okay. And the valuation that was given for XAI in this transaction was 44 billion. Are we still on the same page or no?
No, that's X.
Right.
It's not XAI.
That is XAI. I'm sorry, it's 45 billion. Excuse me, 45 billion. It's 45 billion for XAI. So he took 25% of XAI. 25% of 45 billion is 11.75 billion? 11.25 billion, excuse me. So you take that 11.25 billion, you add it to the X valuation of 32 point something billion, and you now get 44 billion. What is your disagreement?
He purchased X for 44 billion. That's where the 44 billion comes from.
I know that, but what I'm saying to you is X was valuated at 33 billion, right? It dropped just like you said, but he has taken 25% of XAI, and that valuation is at 45 billion. It's in the Financial Times article. And so when you take that 25% of XAI and add it to the current valuation of Twitter, you get back to 44 billion. It's in the Financial Times article. It's
So why would he need to do a 25% if X would be evaluated separately? What does the valuation of XAI have to do with an acquisition?
Well, X now owns 25% of XAI.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No, XAI merged with X. XAI did the purchase of X. XAI acquired X, not the other way around. X didn't acquire anything. XAI did the acquisition. Because do you see the article that I put? Elon Musk said on Friday that his startup, XAI, has merged with X, his social network, in an all-stock transaction that values the artificial intelligence company at $80 billion and the social media company at $33 billion. He tweeted it.
That's what I read.
Let me just put the Twitter post in here. Maybe you'll believe Elon. He valued X at $45 billion less $12 billion debt. So this is what you do. We can move on because I'm sure it's boring people. But you can literally look at Elon's tweet himself. And then y'all look at the comments of people calling it a Ponzi scheme because they were on his ass. That's hilarious. Read what Elon said, CEO.
So he said his own profits, paid his own stock, and then called it a profit?
Basically, yeah. Okay. He's saying that the
all right, so two things.
Debt, which is not unusual. So sometimes it's not unusual. Like, think about it like if you're acquiring a property and you have to pay the property taxes, right? Okay. So the property itself might be discounted because the property taxes are owed, but it's like you know the worth of that, right? Like it's discounted, let's just say it's discounted 20%. It's $1 million property. You get it for $800,000 because it's on auction because, they couldn't pay, but you still got to pay $20,000 in property taxes before you can acquire it. But in this case, Elon paid $1 million. It was only worth $100,000. And he's trying to do some creative acquisitioning, basically saying, oh, well, it's $1 million company with 20% debt. No, you crackhead. It's an $800,000 property. Does that make sense? But anywho, you can read what he said. He put a lot of foolishness when he...
Yeah, I was going to say, so in terms of the valuation, would others agree with the valuation, or was he alone there? Because you're right now. If you buy a house for $1 million, you can say it's $1 million house, but if ain't nobody else buying that house for $1 million, is it $1 million house?
Yep.
Right.
The answer is yes. We all got a price well until the bids come in.
So here's the other side of it though, real quick. So I was reading an article from 2 weeks ago. So Miki, I see what you're saying now in your article. So
but you came in hot.
I just said you're correct. Now let me make my final point though. XAI exists from the birth of X. So where he initially bought Twitter for $44 billion, the combined value of X and XAI is $80 billion. Is that accurate, Miki?
No, I think he valued XAI at 80 billion prior to the merger. That's what he said. He valued it. And this is what look at his tweet. He wrote a bunch of BS about blah 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 blah. Those are his numbers.
That's
his private company.
Okay. Is it? Do you believe that when you take XAI and X together, collectively, it's worth more than $44 billion?
No, because even he acknowledged that it's taking on $12 billion of debt. So it's literally just like we heard Trump manipulate the data. He's making it seem as if it's worth $44 billion, but it's a fourth of that is debt. So his solvent company acquired more so the insolvent one, if that makes sense.
The article you're referencing says he did an all-stock transaction that values the AI company at $80 billion and the social media company at $33 billion. So are you in agreement with that?
Yeah, but we can say, stock be a partnership with the family. They issue, quote unquote shares. That's what I'm saying. Like it's not. It's a private company. It's private equity.
I get my part. This is my challenge to you. If Elon was your client, okay, and you were talking to him, so 80 billion plus 33 billion is 113 billion. When he bought X for 44 billion, part of why he bought X was to have an AI ecosystem, and so he basically has created an additional 69 billion in value that wasn't there when X was acquired by him. Is that true?
You mean Twitter? Twitter. Say Twitter, not X. X is his company.
Twitter. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Fine. So, but is that true or false?
No. So what Elon did, because mind you, this was COVID. People had just gone back to the office. He made a tweet saying that he was going to take over Twitter.
Exactly.
Oops, sorry, headphone fell. He made a tweet saying that he was going to take over Twitter. If you recall, Jack Dorsey. Well, I'm just repeating it just since you're making me go there. I have to give a little back history. Jack Dorsey was like, oh, hell no. He went to the second highest shareholder, who was some guy in Saudi, because Musk became the largest shareholder. Then Dorsey went to his employees, basically trying to, say, we'll take care of this way, right? We're going to get together and become employee owned. So what had happened was Elon offered like damn near 40% over the share price. I don't know why. That doesn't make any sense. That's ridiculous. He didn't even have the ambassadors at that
because
time.
he wanted Mickey.
Can you let me
as an advisor, would you have advice?
Let her finish though. Can she just finish?
Yeah, advisors don't really advise on business acquisitions, but were I a business advisor, I would have told him hell no. So anywho, he offered a ridiculous aggressive price, right? And then, remember, he tried to basically get out of the deal saying they had too many bots and da-da-da-da-da, and they had 100 million fake users, so he backed out. But by this time, Twitter's stock had been impacted. People had quit because they were like, I refuse to work for Elon. So basically, they took it to the Chancery Court in Delaware, where they're incorporated. So if you're incorporated in Delaware, it's called the Chancery Court, CHANCERY. It's not like the traditional courts. It's the business courts, basically the organization. And the Chancery Court said, your ass, Elon, we don't care if they had a billion bots. You made this offer. Not only are you not going to be able to come in at your lower offer, you're going to have to go in at your initial high-ass offer. The stock had already dropped. So that's what happened. He didn't make this decision to buy it. And I remind people of this 50 million times, and I will put an article in the chat to support it. They made his ass buy it at his original ridiculously high offer. So like I said, he literally lost money as soon as the paperwork was signed because he offered too much money to begin with, even under the best of circumstances.
All right. So all that being true, like I'll stipulate to all that. At the time that he bought Twitter, XAI did not exist. Twitter's been changed to X, and this Grok AI tool was used within X to learn and to interact with people and to basically create the valuation and the ecosystem for it. And in the CNBC article, it references the AI company being valued at $80 billion and the social media company being valued at 33 billion. So this is a total of 113 billion, and he originally bought in at 44 billion. So there is 69 billion in, let's just call it potential, right? Like, let's not say it's like an absolute real thing, but let's call it 69 billion potential increase in valuation from what he originally did. What part of that statement is inaccurate?
So first of all, he lost, and that's what First Lady was saying. He lost about 80% of the value in Twitter from when he acquired it. So we're talking billions. So if he purchased it for 44, right, and now how Fidelity valued it was a little under 12, just think of it as a public company, he lost a significant amount of money. So you still have to take advantage of that, right? It's like Trump saying, oh, we're going to increase the tariffs and it's going to be really, really good for you in 3 years. Where's my money? Because you lost me money from jump. You lost me money when you went too high for the offer. You lost me money when you had to go to court. You lost me money when you were forced to buy it. And you still lost money because he lost advertisers and he lost users. People were going to Blue Sky. Zuckerberg got in there with Threads, so forth and so on. Everybody hates Elon now, right? So that's what I'm saying. We can't be creative with the numbers, CEO. I get what you're trying to say. It's all going to work out in the end, but that shit ain't working out now.
Well, let's not. Let's go off
Almost double the value, right?
Let's go.
It's not double the value.
Let's go. Let's just go to your scenario. Okay, so let's say Fidelity's number is right, and the real valuation of X. All right, we'll move on after this.
No, wait, just for a second, because literally up until 5 minutes ago, you were confused about the valuation of one of the companies. So now you're literally just making things up on the fly. You didn't even have the full detail.
I had what was reported 2 weeks ago. I was going off of what was reported 2 weeks ago. You provided a more accurate, up-to-date article, so I'm working off that.
So now you freestyling like she's.
I'm not. So, I'm looking at the numbers. I'm looking at the numbers in the article. It's called. No, it isn't. It happens all the time in life. Like, are you not able to make adjustments? Are you not able to make adjustments? Yeah, Doc, chill. All right. You got. All right. Whatever.
We're not here trying to listen to you hash it out of your head.
Dude.
Next topic, please. Thank you. Good afternoon.
No, you don't get to say that. No, you don't get to say that.
CEO, let it go. Can we move on? We already beat this one.
When I finish my point, okay? Good grief.
Beat this one.
When I finish my point.
Why are you being a governor right now?
ML. For real.
Say your point and let's move on. Say your point and let's
move
on. Come on.
So even if you want to go up the Fidelity valuation of X at 12 billion, it still leaves the valuation for the AI company currently at 80. 80 plus 12 is 92. That is more than 44. That is my point.
Anyone got anything else?
No, let's let that X evaluation.
Let's move on.
Oh, thank God. Okay. So I wanted to say that I really didn't appreciate Donald Trump. I mean, first of all, he doesn't need to keep throwing shade at previous presidents and Joe Biden in particular, because Joe Biden had just done an amazing job, however old he was, et cetera, et cetera. And if I recall, I do recall correctly, because I remember this, like we were talking about this on Clubhouse a lot. Remember when Joe Biden bailed out Ford, and Ford wanted to expand to build their own electric cars, but they wanted to also manufacture the batteries here in the United States as opposed to having to get them from China. And I was just looking up like the information just so I knew that I was like clear about it. And Joe Biden loaned Ford $9.2 million. And then he gave them some additional millions in credits through the Inflation Reduction Act to manufacture batteries. So I was paying attention to the forthcoming facility in Tennessee because there was like a little bit of drama. There's like a lot of Black businesses around there and stuff like that. And people were asking how are they going to benefit and, you know, what should they do and stuff like that. That's why we were having a conversation. But I guess I'm just wondering, like, like Trump is trying to pretend like he is the one that, you know, is bringing manufacturing of electric batteries to the United States. And he's the one bringing car manufacturing back to the United States. And meanwhile, Joe Biden, he did that in his last election. And so I looked it up in his last presidency. And I looked it up and now the Ford, they're moving forward, I guess, with 2 other plants. But the one in Tennessee is now on hold. It was announced in September 2024. It's now on hold until 2027. And isn't that in direct relation to what Trump is doing in his presidency? That's my presentation in question to the room. I know Trent's not here to represent Ford, but I'm just saying. Nobody knows.
Tariff slows business.
And I have to tell you guys, I was speaking to a friend of mine who's an executive in one of the major insurance company, and I was just calling him to congratulate him on his promotion because he's a VP now. And I was asking him, I said, so what do you guys think about the tariffs? So we went into politics. He said, well, if the price of vehicles goes up, new vehicles, the price of insurance coverage goes up, because when those new vehicles get hit, it's the value that it's the value that people paid for it that they're insuring. So guys, your insurance about to go up too.
Child, people still mad.
Yeah, Dr. God, you were asking about insurance?
No, I was saying one, do you all remember that happened? Like that was just like a big deal with Ford. I think they were bringing back 2 plants were already built, but they were building the one in the suburbs of Tennessee. It's like the suburbs of Memphis, I should say.
Oh, Dr. Gus, are you talking about the black town where they were building the plant and then the adjoining county took over the town because of the fact that, are you talking about that scenario?
Yeah.
You remember that happened?
Yeah. That's what we were talking. We were talking about it.
Okay.
House. And Joe Biden, so how the news first came out was like Joe Biden saved Ford. That like Ford was going under. And they needed to innovate. They needed to pivot, and they wanted to do it with EVs, and they wanted to manufacture their electric batteries here in the United States. But because there's no Americans that apparently have the technology, they literally like hired like Chinese and South Koreans to come over and build them here in the United States. And it was supposed to be the first. Maybe it's besides Tesla. I'm not sure, but because I don't know about cars, y'all. I'm just saying. But I get maybe Ford was supposed to be the new challenger to Tesla or something like that. I'm not sure, but I just know that it was a big deal that Ford was going to manufacture electric batteries at their new plant, and this new plant is in the suburbs of Memphis, Tennessee. And everybody was really happy also because it was in the South, and the South needed an economic boost and things like that. So if you look in the news, if you just put like Joe Biden, Ford plant or something like that, it'll say in September of 2024, they announced that the project has been postponed until 2027. And notice that, I'm not saying that Donald Trump was going to talk about it. He wasn't, because that was a Biden accomplishment. But I just don't really know what happened, And now here's Trump saying, I'm introducing these tariffs to bring back manufacturing to the United States. And it's not just with cars.
Yeah, he canceled the CHIPS Act, right? Did he do an executive order to revoke the CHIPS Act that was bringing back manufacturing jobs. So yeah, I think it's performative. This is a performance for him. This is entertainment. He's,
And didn't China withhold a small piece of the technology to like finish a chip or something like that when the first tariffs were announced?
Taiwan did that. So they have different nano patents right now that Taiwan utilized in the fabs that are in Taiwan. And Trump wanted them to build those fabs, but they were building 4 versus 2, and 2 is the latest. And now people are working on 1. So Trump wanted the latest technology, but the Taiwanese government literally had to have a session to approve that technology transfer. But in true in fact, they didn't really do the technology transfer because by the time the technology transfer takes place, 2 would have become old technology.
Yeah, they'll have
but right now it's new technology.
The 2 nanometer wafer is going to be obsolete by the time it comes about. But the other thing, though, too, is revoking the CHIPS Act is going to jeopardize the future of probably the last American chip manufacturer, Intel, because Intel has been hurting, and they need that chip. They need the CHIPS Act to keep them afloat.
So I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm reading this now, and I can look into it more. He didn't revoke the CHIPS Act, but he's withholding funding and fired a bunch of people that were supposed to help with that. So basically, in a sense, he's gutting. Yeah. Okay.
He's basically saying the administrators of the CHIP Act are non-existent, so they can't do their job. So until that's rectified, obviously you can't issue any money because those people have to verify the issuance of those funds. So it's a pretty slick move by Trump.
And it was supposed to bring back 4 manufacturing plants, and maybe he rebrands it and calls it the Trump chip.
That's what he wants.
But I think
really.
he doesn't want anything that has a semblance of Biden doing any good. Remember, it's all about him saving. He has like this hero complex, so he has to be the one to save America.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't, I was just trying to think, like, the closest elections I've paid attention to lately has been Ghana and Mexico. But I was just trying to think, like, do I recall foreign leaders constantly disrespecting their former leaders the way that Trump does Biden and everybody else? But he always names Biden by name. And then, to keep calling them Sleepy Joe. And it's just so disrespectful. I feel like what he's doing is he's lessening the value of America, like, across the world. Like, people need to understand America partly has the clout that it has, not just because of its military, but also because of its image. Like, a lot of this is about image and projection of a brand. And I just kind of feel like I understand, that he wants to promote the brand of Trump. But when you're constantly disrespecting other American leaders and saying they did a terrible job with this and did a terrible job with that, you're lessening the brand of America. I just wanted to say that because I watched the meeting with Biden and Jinping or something. I don't remember his name, but it was a good meeting. And they both said they were going to do the best for their country. They both said, we know that we have a friendly competition. That's what they called it. And you had Biden and his, and the crew on one side, and you had the president of China and his crew on the other side. It's just so distasteful. And so I'm thinking that maybe I have to look into it, but maybe with all of the Tesla drama, Trump and company helped to make the conditions poor for Ford and put them on pause until 2027. And I'm thinking that that's meant to be for after the midterm elections. They're kind of hoping, because doesn't it mean that if they're trying to manufacture electric batteries in the United States, isn't that a direct business challenge to Tesla?
No, because I don't think who makes Tesla batteries. Tesla makes their own batteries, but I think they're using someone else's technology.
Yeah, I don't think they're in that business, are they?
No, they're not.
So that means that Ford would be ahead of Tesla. You see what I'm saying? Like in terms of manufacturing in the United States, because the United States does not manufacture electric batteries. Like I said, they got technologists from South Korea and China.
Yeah,
they signed on.
I think one SK something is building batteries with Chevrolet, and somebody just signed a contract with CTL, which is the Chinese big. It might be Ford who signed the CTL contract.
Yeah, Ford signed with SK for sure. I know that. But yeah, I mean, because we were on their website, they have a whole web. They showed they're obviously like Asian. It's we were studying it on Clubhouse as a group, just looking at what was happening, and it was for the reasons that you stated, ML, about how the black business, there was just a lot of local politics going on, and we were all trying to just sort out, okay, what do you do in the South when a manufacturing plant is coming and it's supposed to be innovative and transformative, and how do you get ready? That was the gist of the conversation, but we had to learn a lot, to understand what was happening. So I'm just saying, do you think that because Ford, if they were going to manufacture their own electric batteries, it made them an even stronger challenge to Tesla, and then Trump and company weren't going to support Ford?
I don't think it's Ford that's a challenge. Chevrolet is, and Cadillac is the one that has seen some huge increase in their sales. And Chevrolet is the one that's kicking ass now, because even the Honda electric vehicle is built off Chevrolet's platform. So Chevy, apart from Chevy's van, which is packing up on parking lots, the vans that are made in Canada, a lot of the Chevy vehicles are actually electric vehicles are actually selling like hot cakes. Not the Hummer per se, but the new Cadillac Escalade EV. That one is selling like hotcakes, because I went to the dealership to take a look at it, and the guy told me there's a waiting list. And then I looked at other Chevy electric vehicles, and they're actually pretty good price. You could get one for like $40-something thousand. I think the cheapest one is $30-something thousand and up. So it's price competitive, and they look better than Teslas. Mm. And then GM also has the Cruise technology, which is, to me, which is a better hands-free driving than Tesla, because they utilize radar, LiDAR, and cameras, whereas Tesla only utilizes cameras.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Joe.
We should also take into account that while Biden was in office, all of the big major companies realized that they were moving too fast on EV. Remember, they were talking about we're getting rid of all the EV at 2030 or something like that. Well, they realized that the economy wasn't allowing people to purchase, and the big corporations were going to spend too much money too fast for something that wasn't already consistently moving in that direction. So a lot of that could be due to that also. The slowage of the plants being built, the slowage of the EV transition. Definitely probably more because it's probably not good financially for a company to start pushing that agenda when the consumer isn't properly ready or vetted for that push. A lot of people weren't looking, and that's half of the country, Republicans too, weren't looking to really change into a environmentally safe vehicle. And like I said, that comes down to, can you afford a $60,000 or $40,000 new car now? Will you need one in 10 years? Is the economy allowing you to purchase one in 10 years? And so a lot of those companies did push back on, slow down on the EV push. So that could be a reason for why that plan actually doesn't plan on opening up until later.
And mostly every American car manufacturer has kind of reconfigured their EV plan, because some of them have actually gone through. I mean, look at Chrysler is using hybrid, so they're using a plug-in versus going full electric, so you could still utilize gas. And I think that's a balanced approach, because we have so much oil in the ground still, and you know how oil operates in America. They were not just gonna stand there and let EVs just totally destroy their market. So that's the pushback. You have competing industries here, and obviously the balance is that you can make plug-in hybrids, so therefore people continue to use gas, but they have the opportunity to drive within a certain distance on electric only. Well, it's electric only, but the fact is that you don't have to use gas. You could drive 100 and something miles. Because like my car, I could drive 60 miles and don't have to use gas because I have a plug-in too. And when after 60 miles, obviously the gas kicks in. But mine's a plug-in hybrid with an ICE foundation, whereas the new vehicles that are coming out, the structure is all electric. There are no mechanical ICE parts, except the ICE engine serves as a generator. And I think that's a transitory technology that a lot of people are actually like. Because even in China, they have that particular Li Auto. That's how they made their name with those plug-in electric vehicles. And there's a new Dodge Ram that's coming out, and it's built off that same architecture where you have battery, you have the whole underpinning of the vehicle is electric, and the only thing that the engine is there for is to
Is that me or did ML?
No, I'm done speaking.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to add, because now I'm reading other countries. Sorry, we were talking about the tariffs, and of course everything leads to cars, and we can talk about cars for 6 hours. But I just put an article in the chat that talks about tariffs and stuff like that. And so it says that we used to have a de minimis exception to tariffs from China, and that would be on goods less than $800. So I remember, because I used to work with Wish, that company Wish, and then it became Temu became more popular. But all these companies that sell like very cheap goods, you can expect sharp increases starting tomorrow on those goods.
What if people don't realize that Trump is inadvertently raising taxes on them? Because if you're paying higher taxes for everything, more is coming out of your pocket to buy the same good prior to Trump taking on. The price goes up by 2%. It's basically like Trump taxing you an additional 20% because you got to pay that.
Yeah, and there's just taxes so I've worked a lot with Europe. Europe does not have a 20% tariff. They have a 20% VAT tax on that they charge on goods consumed within Europe. So they don't necessarily charge U.S. companies a tax. That's a tax based on consumption. They have a VAT tax, a consumption tax. It's also called global trade tax. It's the same, but they don't. That's why I'm like, I don't understand this tariff agreement at all. And I've read, I think, wasn't he the person who signed the last tariff agreement or the last trade agreement?
He was, yes. He renegotiated NAFTA just to attach his name to it. And now he's complaining that it's a bad trade deal. You negotiated it.
So this is a service-based economy. Yeah, I'm looking at my tax colleagues on LinkedIn, and they're like fucking flipping their wigs.
So do you think, oh, I forgot my question. I'll come back. Sorry.
Was it about tariff?
Yeah, I was reading the chat and I was getting a couple of links where a couple of people responding, and then I was like, wait, I have a question, and I like just that fast, I forgot what I was gonna say. It'll come back to me.
So is the art of the deal renegotiating a trade agreement that you said was bad, and then 4 years later turning around saying it was a bad deal? Is that how the art of the deal works?
Apparently,
that's what it sounds like.
Remember, he's a genius.
It sounds like the art of wasting time to me.
And blame it on other.
Yeah, like I'm just like, it's so distasteful. Like, I mean,
listen, Trump is crashing, doing me a favor and crashing the economy. So you gotta get ready to take advantage of that crash. That's all.
Yeah.
So you should be, the interest rates on mortgages is gonna go down. The price of if you're not retiring in the next 3 years, the price of stocks are gonna go down significantly, and you get to buy more of it, and you get to ride it up again. So he's doing some people, but he's only doing people with money favors, because the poor people who are, especially people who are exactly totally dependent on their 401k and they're ready to retire in the next 5 years, but your 401k drops by 50%, you like up shit street right now. Like, what do? I don't have any money because he's trying to take away Social Security. So people don't realize how much Trump is trying to screw them. But anyway, he's their Lord and Savior, and he thinks somehow he's going to create this miracle that he keeps promising them.
So what should we be doing with our 401k?
Don't touch it. Keep investing.
Yeah, you just
whatever you do.
Dollar cost averaging.
Keep investing.
Are you able to adjust how it's allocated at all?
Yeah.
Health sector and energy.
Okay.
You could always do that, yeah.
And does everybody in here have an electric car? Because I was about to buy another gas vehicle.
For a long time out.
You're going out, ML.
Well, for me, we had a Tesla, but I didn't like it, so we got rid of it.
Are you
my wife is driving.
Are you back to gas now? Are you back to gas now?
No, it's a plug-in hybrid. You could go 60 miles on electric.
Oh, okay, that's not bad. So okay, I'm gonna look up how. So, I'm literally going to a dealer today.
Yeah, go right now.
I said it before. I found like a.
That's the goddess. We told you at 9 a.m. At 8 a.m. we told you go to.
Oh yeah, no. I was looking. I had been already kind of looking at some things earlier, like for about a good 2 months. You know how you just sort of dibble and dabble, and I knew I needed a new vehicle, but I looked a little bit when I was in Mexico, and then when I came back, I was like, you really need to get a vehicle while you're here before you go back, because you're going to be right back. By the time you come back, the shit's going to hit the fan, with the tariffs. So, I was just, but Trump kept postponing stuff. So it just added to my procrastination. So, today I was like, okay, look, but you already looked up some stuff, let's look again. So I did find 2 vehicles I really like, but I think I also need to, I'm actually going there. They close at 8, so I'm gonna be headed out in a little bit. But I just thought I should look up some hybrids too. That's what I was.
Let me read this really quick, because this is the global. I used to work at a global Big Four firm, and I worked in taxation and global taxation. This is a quote from the head of global taxation. I have a meeting in a minute, so I'll be quick. But he says in here, before the rates were released, he's talking about the Freedom Day. It's useful to reference the World Bank's 2022 data, which shows the average tariff rate weighted mean for all products applied to the U.S. is 1.5%, which compares less favorably with Australia's 1%, Canada's 1.3%, Germany 1.3%, so forth. So where he's getting these this average tariff rate, I have no idea, but I got it.
I like all electric. I'm sorry.
I know, Patty. I was like, I was like, but I was like, well, Patty is over here high class. You said you got electric, your daughter got electric. I said, okay, that's y'all are like next level.
The only reason why I like all electric is because of barely maintenance.
Oh. Okay, I'm gonna look up some things.
No oil change. It's just you're driving on a battery.
Tires and brakes.
Okay, but
and their brakes ain't even that bad either because you got the regenerative braking. So when you don't have your foot on what would be quote unquote the gas pedal, it automatically goes down because you're pretty much using the battery to push your vehicle.
Okay.
So the 4 years that I had that vehicle, I've never had my brakes changed. Ever.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're still good because they inspect everything. You take your car in.
That is true. You use your brakes a lot less.
Patty, have you debuted your song yet that I wrote for you?
Oh yeah, what's his name made a song? Let's hear it.
Okay, yeah, let's see.
Well, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to play it. I'm on my cell phone. So how do you make this happen? I can post it in the chat. A link to it. Oh, and it has.
Yeah, do that. Post it in the chat.
All you gotta do is press play and put yourself in music mode. And then press play and you can play it if it's on your phone.
I just posted in the chat. It's easier. I'm driving. Someone can play that. So I can read the official jingle of the jingle for politically correct. It's actually kind of funny. That took 4 minutes, by the way, to write and produce it.
In Patty's room, we sing along. It's country as hell, but it's not too bad.
Well, in the middle, we'll have a little hip hoppy in the middle. Who can play it? No, nobody cares how much credit I take. They really don't.
What is it on?
Let me find the music.
I'm gonna try to play it. I had to put myself in music mode. Let me try to play it.
Okay.
There's a place we all go when the world gets wild, where the love runs deep and the laughs run miles. Patty's got the mic and the vibes are right. Every night feels like a golden light. In Patty's room, we sing along with Andre's name in every song. Dr. AJ's got the wisdom flow, and your honors keep in order, yo. That's the king, no doubt it's true. Bringing fire every time he comes through. And we all agree, no need to guess. Trump's the man, he's simply the best. Andre's dropping gems, yeah, he's got that grace. A heart so big you can feel feel his space. We're laughing, learning, holding tight. A family formed in clubhouse nights. Oh, we miss Goat, yeah, we feel the pain, but his spirit's here, it still remains. In every joke, in every rhyme, he's dancing with us, keeping time. Patty's room, we sing along with Andre's name in every song. Dr. AG's got the wisdom flow, and your honor's keeping order, yo. That's the king, no doubt it's true. Green fire every time he comes through, and we all agree, no need to guess. Trust the man, he's simply the best. So here's to Patty and the love she brings to every heart that steps in to sing. No matter where we roam, near or far, Patty's room will always be our star. In Patty's room we sing along with Andre's name in every song.
Okay.
Can you hear it?
Yes, yes. That's that right there. Yes, you can hear. You can, because of if you were here originally off the original headphones, it wouldn't sound as AI. But that is pretty fucking. It took 4 minutes to do that.
Did y'all hear the whole song?
Not entirely.
Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna play the hook. It's funny. Y'all gonna be Dr. AG gonna be like, what the fuck? Where's that Dr. AG? Is she in there?
She's here. She's on set.
Okay.
And what happened with Goat? I mean, I missed something.
Oh, this didn't end. Hold on. How do I play this shit again?
Just scroll it back. Yeah, I stopped playing it. Like, I was near the end, but I stopped playing it because I didn't know if you guys could hear it. I had it up.
The $1 million question is who owns the copyright to that song.
Suno owns the copyright to that song.
Well, it wasn't written under Suno, it was written under ChatGPT, but I'm the one that put the ideas in.
Oh, and Suno. Oh, that's a good question. I mean, yeah, you do bring up a good question. Well, then maybe ChatGPT. Or ChatGPT is a
co-writer.
Man, that's a good one. Yeah, copyright. Yeah,
he could be they can have a co-write on it. But it's interesting. It's interesting what the music's going to look and sound like here in another. Of course, you can kind of tell that's AI generated production, but this is AI 1.0. Imagine what it's going to sound like in 5 years.
Can I tell y'all something before you play this? Good to see you, CL. What's up, my man?
Good, how are you?
Can I tell y'all gonna play this thing, or can I tell y'all something real quick?
Go ahead, Doc.
Okay.
Okay. Ford will be coming out announcing a campaign called "From America for America." It will be employee pricing for on all makes until June 2nd, and they're actually going to reduce some of their pricing. I think General Motors is planning something as well. The auctions, which is where dealers buy and sell cars, are up significantly. In fact, Toyota Tacomas are up $5,000 over their typical value. So if you have a foreign car, like a Volkswagen, especially BMW, especially a foreign European car, your value when you get into June and July, if this is still going, is going to be significant. Okay, it's going to be significantly higher. And if you're trading that on an EV or an American car, you're actually probably gonna get a great deal. The last thing I'll say is there is a possibility. I don't know if this is true. I think it's got to go through Congress, but they are trying to pass a write-off for your interest if you buy a domestic vehicle. So if you buy a American car, you can write off the interest that you pay. That will cause things to boom. There's supposed to be an announcement next week. I do not know what that announcement will be, but we'll see. And you guys have a good one.
Is Ford going to start making BMWs and Mercedes?
Or Audis, because I damn sure won't be bought.
I got two Hondas, used Hondas I'm driving. Old, 15, 20 year old.
Yeah, are they going to make Toyotas
2 months.
or Hondas?
I'm gonna hang on to them for a couple. I will hang on to them for 2 or 3.
I mean, let's swing it. They're going to make Kias or Hyundais. I mean, something else other than a Ford. I mean, if they are, I'm
definitely interested if this is what's going on. If not, I'm going to be paying that tariff.
So how much of the car has to be made in America? So that's my question. Is Ford and GM, are they going to be, because some of those parts are coming out, they're shipping those vehicles to Mexico to finish them out and shipping them back in and so forth. So how much of, will it just be the parts that will be tariffed?
No,
75%, Matt.
Yeah, no, there's Sandra answered it. But nobody knows because it depends. Like you just said, that the cars and the parts can cross lines so many times. But yeah, if it's 75%, great. Sandra, I think this would be really good.
What? 75% what?
75% of the car of the components need to be American.
American, yeah.
Oh, got it. I thought you just got it. God, this is what a shit show this is going to be.
Hey, let me ask you, I want to ask Sandra something real quick. Sandra, what are your people there saying? Are they happy about this?
Nobody's happy. GM took a big turn in the MAGA world, so they're like flailing themselves because they voted against their own interests, and we'll probably be getting laid off soon. So they're not happy.
Who thinks they're going to get laid off?
Yeah, why would anybody get laid off? I don't know. Anybody get laid off in the Americans?
Trick. Go ahead, because you're going to speak on
shift. We haven't worked a full shift in the last 2 weeks. They keep shutting us down. The parts are not coming in. We didn't have axles the other day, and they had a production Saturday. They worked 4 hours on a production Saturday on 2 shifts. This is crazy. So yeah, they're not talking about it in the news, but stuff is messed up.
Wait, so the axles aren't coming out of Canada?
Yeah, I think they do come from Canada. I haven't been on that side of the plant in a long time, but yeah, most of that stuff was Canada and China, because I worked in engine dress.
So yeah, this is a stupid question. You do need an axle to build a car, is that correct? You still need an axle?
Yes, sir.
I'm just checking.
These big ass. We built Traverses and Enclaves and the GMC. So the Acadia. So these suckers are huge. They're 7-passenger vehicles.
Now how? So what? Again, you're educating me here. For the record, I'm against tariffs. With that said, how is Ford and GM's going to be hurt by these tariffs? Won't they see their demand artificially increased by government intervention via tariffs?
Can I answer that before, to an extent? And I yield to Sandra on who's in one of the factories here in Michigan.
shared this morning. I shared it in another space. I'll share it again. That one of the programs that I was on for an OEM design program is for a vehicle that's coming out. It was scheduled to come out in 2029. Instead of bringing quote unquote the factory back here, they basically they didn't cancel the program, but they put it on pause because the email that I woke to that was sent out last night was, hey, basically the Cliff Note version was, we ran the numbers. If this does happen, it's going to add 10 to 15 grand to the price of this vehicle that we're in the early, phases of, and it was going to be made out of America. Which, surprise, surprise, there are some quote unquote American branded vehicles made in other countries and brought back here. Buick, for example, I brought that up, and Trent knows, we have Ford products that are made in Mexico. There are Stellantis products made across the river in Canada. This vehicle, they did the numbers and said, well, we can't absorb that, and the consumer's not going to absorb that extra 10 to 15 grand cost. We're going to put this program on pause. So what that does now, okay, that's one less option for a consumer to consider when they're in their car buying phase. And two, what jobs is that bringing back? It's not bringing back any, because when they ran the numbers, they actually saw that it was going to lose them money. And that's from my experience. So I lost work, but I'm not like dead in the water. That's one of the projects I have on my plate. But how this impacts auto manufacturing, and maybe Sandra could speak to this more, but this is my opinion as I continue to just encourage, just pan out. We're looking at this in a bubble, or they are looking at this in a bubble. If we slap a 25% tariff on quote unquote all imported or vehicles, not American vehicles, I'm like, what is an American vehicle? Air quotes. If you're going by content, if you're going by badge, if you're going by location of final assembly, but if you put that tariff on top of what's called stacking, on top of the materials of steel and aluminum, and you price people out of that category, panning out to people already losing jobs. And the psychology, if you're secure in your job, but your neighbor to the left of you and your neighbor to the right of you are losing your job, some, maybe not all, some may be like a little gun shy, like, wait a minute, I'm going to hold off. Let me make sure my stuff is tight. And those people that are going to buy cars are going to buy cars. But the ripple effect, as Sandra's pointed out, like for axles, for example, or other components, the supply chain that it takes to manufacture a car, that's what freaking drives, I guess, I won't say drives me insane, but just makes me scratch my head. If I had here, I'd pull it out, because I'm like, dude, it's not just about making a car. It's about every single component that goes into that vehicle. Some of the Buicks that are made in China, their suppliers are there for that, and they're brought back here. It's a lot of the vehicles that may be impacted, in my opinion, based off of the information that I see on a frequent basis, are going to be lower end models. Bloomberg just reported that Mercedes is considering just stopping importing their low end, quote unquote, entry level models, because it's just going to be counterproductive and not good for a business case. So one, that's going to remove that lower cost option for somebody shopping in that segment. Now what? And then I'll park on this because like all of us, I'm multitasking while I'm listening in. But think about, it's not just a car,
when there's a manufacturing facility with people working in it, when their product's hot and you've got like a second shift and a third shift, but when things start to slow down, okay, now we're going to get rid of that third shift, we're going to get rid of that second shift. What about the people that are working that first shift and they're like, hey, I'm still working, maybe, we're maybe not to capacity. Now I'm going to hold on to my pennies. Now I may not go buy that extra thing that I need, whether it's I'm at Costco and I'm going to, dial back a bit, or maybe I'm going to get some clothes, or maybe I'm going to go on a trip. The ripple effects, the supplier base, the tier 1, 2, and 3 suppliers, the dealerships, the ripple effects. And that's what kind of gets me. So I'll hopefully that answers your question, but just a different perspective.
Now, Matt, I'll be real quick. It's going to be good for GM and Ford and Stellantis, especially if they announce the write-off for domestics for income. If that gets passed by Congress, it's going to be it'll be substantial. If you don't like a Ford, the Lincolns are pretty nice. I understand not everybody likes American cars. There is going to be some Brian, I'm sorry about you losing an opportunity there. You're a great guy. I know you'll be okay. But he is right. It will be the less expensive cars. Those are the ones that are usually manufactured, especially in Mexico. The lower end cars will actually be higher. So if you're thinking about getting something lower end, I would move very, very quickly. Okay, you guys have a good one.
So my next question is going to be, look, if these tariffs are going to be here forever, okay, then I could go to if I had a billionaire friend and go, hey, these tariffs are going to be here forever. So, billionaire friend, why don't you, let's invest $500 million into manufacturing to produce this widget because of these tariffs. But since there's no guarantee these tariffs are going to be here forever, and if I go to my billionaire friend, which I don't have, and go spend $500 million to manufacture this widget, next thing you know, the tariffs could go away in a signature. So I just wasted my billionaire's friend's money. So there's no guarantee that these tariffs are going to be here forever. That's the other frustrating part.
And who's going to make the widgets? 14-year-old kids?
Well, we can get people make widgets. We can find people make widgets. The problem is those widgets are going to.
They don't want to work.
Yeah, they do.
They don't want to do it. No, you're crazy. I work with thousands of them. I'm telling you, they get fired every day. They're walking people out. These young people, 20 to 27, cannot complete one work cycle, one job, without going back to their phones. Or they got their phones in their hands. They are losing their jobs every day. Something is wrong with these young people. It's about 7,000 of us in my facility. And we have 3 shifts. So we won't be having 3 shifts. It's not going to last. There's no way. Because people are going to be like me and just stop spending money. I'm stacking cash. I'm not buying shit. But seeds for my garden.
Buy a couple chickens, and just in case.
I thought about it. I don't think my dog would like that.
You might not get no eggs.
I have a husky, girl. I wouldn't because he'd eat the chicken. I got a husky.
That's what I'm talking about. You might like it.
I'll just get back from my workout. It's true. It's true.
I often get comments that people can't read me. But what can you do? I got low blood pressure. I don't know. I have a poker.
Wow. Can't find anything interesting.
Well, yes, but it was through a hypothetical.
How many people have come across the southern border in the 4 years of President Biden?
10 plus, 11 million plus.
Yeah, okay.
And they weren't a burden?
Doesn't seem to be. We don't like it.
You're a burden. You're a burden. And you're
You're just resorting to like petty little insults.
That's not.
I didn't say. I haven't made one remark about you.
Crash out, please.
I haven't made one remark about you or your attitude.
Crash out. Come on, Pepe.
You're not even intelligent enough to have a fucking debate. It's pathetic. You Jews are supposed to be a little bit smarter than us.
What do you mean, you Jews?
It kind of sucks that you don't. Sucks that you don't live up to your own expectations.
It bothers you. It bothers you.
You're not debating. You're just like doing this childish content. I know, you're too fucking stupid.
No, because I'd have to be really stupid to win an argument with you. Because you're dumb.
That's literally not the case.
That debate here and now.
This is funny.
Why do you think that? I get the sense that AIPAC shouldn't be a lobby. Is that correct or not?
Absolutely.
Okay, so there's a carve out, and all the other lobbyists, big pharma, big tobacco.
They're not foreign nations.
What?
They're not foreign nations.
Neither is AIPAC.
It's for a foreign nation.
No, what? No, all the money comes from Americans who want legislation that is better for the betterment of Israel-U.S. relationships.
They should be registered as a federal agent at the least. I know they're not, but they anything wrong. You guys should really not give two shits if they have to register.
They list all of their donations. You can go find them all.
And of course, it has nothing to Israel and as you know, Americans that are supporters of AIPAC. You don't think that they're in constant communication with each other, coming up with strategies when it comes to PR and what they would like America to agree to.
Wasn't there like an article released that showed that like a lot of journalists and news anchors or something, that they're like double spies or something, and that they
Thomas Massey put forth an amendment about dual national citizenship.
I don't even care about the dual national citizenship part. Like I think people they overplay that.
It's called legislation, Dr. Pepe. It's in the books now. Thomas Massey put it out. Look it up.
Amazing.
What are they going to do for Mishlings? I'm just wondering, like, since we're patrilineal and we're technically, the in-betweeners, like...
I don't give a fuck about
does it
who's a Jew
apply
or
to
not.
us?
I really don't care.
Let me ask you, what are your thoughts on Ukraine, Pepe?
Fuck Russia. It's like simple as that. They should be able to protect themselves.
Gaslight.
What Trump is doing, Pepe? Russia?
Wait, so you don't think that there should be like a ceasefire, or Zelensky should just give in, or whatever?
Well, I think there's a reason why the Europeans are so much more unwilling to negotiate, because they know how Putin is. I mean, he clearly violated the sovereignty of that country, cost many people their lives, And yes, he's somebody that you have to hold a firm line with because he's not gonna stop really. I mean, it'd be nice for them not to be at war and for these young men to stop dying. I mean, I'm not somebody who's like a warmonger.
But don't you think that Zelensky's part of the problem?
No.
You think he's part of the solution? He's a comedian. He's not a soldier. He's not a lawyer. He's a dancing belly dancer.
We had an actor as a president. What's the difference?
There's a big difference between Ronald Reagan and Zelensky. Big difference. Night and day kind of difference.
They're both non-politicians who became politicians.
I agree, but one was an American and he was, he had a great head of hair and he was in all these Hollywood movies. The other one was a belly dancer on Ukrainian TV who won't lay down the gauntlet of power and let free and fair elections take place so there can be a peace agreement.
You're assuming some outcome of elections would cave to Russia.
He's done. Yeah, they're going to find a peace candidate internally in Ukraine who can negotiate with Putin and call it quits and end the war. Zelensky is a money-grubbing little rat, and you saw him in the Oval Office. You saw his attitude, an ungrateful little brat.
What would you call Putin?
Wait, let me ask you, so is Ukraine going to join NATO or no?
No.
Oh, it should never be on the table.
Okay, so wasn't this whole war started over that? So aren't we?
That's what Putin says.
No, not in 2014. No. It wasn't even in discussion in 2014.
Zelensky would love to join NATO. Are you serious? That's what he wants to do.
NATO's not. You have to be invited. He'd love to, sure.
I don't know if you saw the news, but Germany for the first time is deploying active duty soldiers in the Baltic states. So Germany is positioning soldiers for the first time since they were defeated in World War II to counter Russia. This war is not slowing down. It's only escalating because of the Europeans. The European Union and WEF is the problem. America's not the problem anymore because now we have Trump. The problem is the European leadership. They are woke and they are sociopathic.
You're so stupid.
You're so stupid. Get that spray tan off. I mean, look at you. You go and do spray tan. You're a woman with spiky hair. I used to look like you when I was a dork.
Amazing.
This fucking guy.
Hey, Jacob. Hey, Joliet Jacob. Joliet Jacob. Hey.
But I mean, if the one thing that the Russians have proven is that just like in World War II, they're absolutely fucking incompetent. They're poorly trained. They can't fight for shit. They'll still get picked off at a much higher number.
Didn't they annex most of Ukraine or a good amount of Ukraine?
No, they haven't annexed anything. Occupying the eastern portions of Ukraine and the Crimean Peninsula.
Yeah, but the people of Crimea voted to be, and aren't there like Russian-speaking people in Ukraine?
Yeah, but it was sovereign territory of Ukraine. Just because there's Russian speakers there doesn't allow you to just annex it.
I mean, Putin's done this more than once. I mean, he was, what was it, like 2007?
There's like English speakers in Mexico where we annexed parts of Mexico.
Yeah, but I mean, I think they're like ethnic Russians, so I don't know. I mean,
they're ethnically all the same. Americans. That's not how it works. You don't just annex something because they're ethnic Russians or ethnic Germans or ethnic Slavs or whatever you want to call it.
By the way, they're ethnically the same people, technically. I learned this. They're just the linguistic. The only thing different is
the language empire actually started in the Ukraine and moved to Moscow.
Well, you didn't see the Tucker Carlson 3-hour interview with Putin where he talked about the history of Russia for 2 hours?
Yeah, my God.
Use it as a
propaganda tool.
Hypnosis. All communication is hypnosis.
He's a former KGB agent. Like, this guy is. He's clearly like they can be highly functional, but he seems somewhat like a psychopath. Like, he's just a cold, calculating person who really
Yeah, but welcome to the world of reality where everyone's on a chessboard and this guy has found himself at the pinnacle of the chessboard. What do you expect him to do? Just give it all up and allow himself to get assassinated? They just blew up his limo in Moscow. They're lucky he doesn't drop a nuke on him.
There's a shitty country that doesn't even what they have, like tuberculosis and all of these fucking diseases that even Mexico doesn't have as big of a problem. They have only lived 57 years. And you can look at their crime rates even before the war. Like that place it's a fucking shithole.
Well, welcome to hell, Dr. Pepe. Welcome to hell, because they are engaged in a life or death struggle for survival and they know it.
Yeah, right.
Bullshit. They are in a life and death struggle.
Of their own making. Every intelligent, educated young man that grows up in Russia ends up fucking leaving. Nobody stays there. They're losing.
You got to understand their system pairs ours so fucking much. It's unbelievable. It's not quite 1-to-1, but in structure it is. The former Soviet Union and the United States of America are like the yin and yang, the Tao, the black and white. And Russia is a very advanced society, and so you're shitting on a world superpower.
No, first off, the Soviet Union was twice the population as Russia is today.
I know, but they still have intercontinental ballistic missile systems with doctors that understand the highest levels of technology on the human. Listen, you can't underestimate the power of Russia. The point is, don't underestimate Russia. They have powerful resources and powerful weapons, and they're not stupid. Do you think that they're not intelligent? That they're not playing this out in an extremely in an advanced, intelligent, hyperdynamic way? They are extremely mercurial. Putin is a survivor. They are survivors.
He's basically willing to have
a very corrupt country.
He's willing to have tremendous, just like the Soviets, to have tremendous amount of losses. Just throw his debt into the meat grinder in order to keep a war going and to get what he wants. But it's not sustainable. I mean, if Europe decided they wanted to take on Russia, they would stomp the living shit out of Russia. I mean, it's not even a question. They're not an advanced.
Dr. Pepe, the point is Donald Trump is on national television today saying they're going to find peace, that these young men are going to stop dying. And when you hear Donald Trump say that, it's going to happen.
What's wrong with finding peace?
Nothing. It needs to happen now.
It doesn't happen now. It'll happen. You have to wait.
Well, I say peace now. It's nothing wrong with that expression.
Okay, you're living in a fantasy world that doesn't exist.
Oh, well, welcome to Clown House, the center pit of hell. The center pit of hell.
So wrong with you?
Are you projecting?
Any thoughts on Signalgate?
Are you projecting?
It's stupid. It doesn't even matter. We talked about hitting people in Yemen or whatever shithole country, we had to bomb that day. It's not a big deal. No, if they get their nuclear launch codes, it's a whole different thing. We should be more worried about China.
Well, did you see the operations in Gaza? They're moving in and taking out, huge swaths of the population, and the military is taking over. So it looks like they're gonna send the first 500,000 to Egypt by Friday. Ribono Shalom and good Shabbos. Don't let the tunnels hit you on the way out.
All right.
Don't let the tunnels hit you on the way out.
Edward, are you there?
Yes.
Don't let the tunnels hit you on the way out.
Somebody opened up a room about you, Edward.
Yeah, I just heard about that. I'm gonna go in there as Goo and Bishop.
Oh, that Goo guy's a piece of shit. He does not say a word.
He's an ethnic expert.
I'm going in there now.
He's a fat Puerto Rican.
I'm ending and
He's a geneticist. He's a geneticist of the highest order.
You don't have to end the room. You can go in there.
No.
Go in there.
So, Joliet Jacob, what are you doing this spring? Any new plans for your year?
Oh, do you mean I run this room? What do I do? Hey,
I don't know, invite people up. Invite Shinra, TA,
be civil, though,
Princessia.
will you? Be civil, you know? You don't have to be a clown all the time.
I'm a comedy, look at me.
Okay, but there's a lot of comics here, so
Just look at it. Look at my PTR. Look at it. Just look at it.
Doesn't mean you're
Just
funny.
look at it. Look at it. Just look. Just look at it. So welcome back to the chill out room, ladies and gentlemen, where you can take the deepest breath of the day through your nose and hold it for 10 seconds. Let it go and say, free the hostages now. Free the... Joliet Jacob kicked me. Oh man, this is honestly very funny. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I might have to use my Great news! I just spoke to General Moshe. He said that the first 500,000 will be sent to Egypt by this Shabbos. I don't even know if they can hear me.
500,000 what?
Survivors!
From where?
From the Asda. No, but I don't know. In the Israeli Times, I think they said that, 10 hours ago, 15 hours ago, they moved in and took like a large part of Rafah, and they're conducting, humanitarian operations. I'll post the link in the chat.
What's left in Rafah than bullets?
So for those of you who are thumb impaired, it says Netanyahu says IDF carving new corridor across Gaza to cut off Rafah, pressure Hamas. IDF chief vows that the only thing that can stop us from advancing is the release of our hostages as troops launch new offensive accompanied by heavy airstrikes. PM Benji said Wednesday that advancing IDF forces were carving out a new security corridor across southern Gaza that would likely cut off the city of Rafah from the rest of the Strip, as Israel seeks to pile pressure on Hamas to free the hostages. Israel is shifting gears in Gaza and creating a second Philadelphia route, Netanyahu said in a video message referring to the corridor on the Gaza-Egypt border. IDF forces are seizing the Morag corridor, said Netanyahu. The route which separates Rafah from Khan Yunis to its north is located where the Israeli settlement of the same name once stood before it was evacuated during the 2005 withdrawal from Gaza. Netanyahu has made continued Israeli control of the Philadelphia corridor a top priority in the ongoing ceasefire negotiations, insisting that an IDF withdrawal from the route would allow for the smuggling of weapons into the Strip. Nonetheless, he agreed as part of the January hostage deal to fully withdraw Israeli troops from the Philadelphia corridor by the 50th day of the deal, a clause Israel has gone on to violate. Israeli troops remain in the corridor and have expanded their presence there as well. Israel has also reasserted control over the Netzarim corridor, also named for a former settlement which cuts off the northern third of Gaza, including Gaza City, from the rest of the narrow coastal strip. Both of the existing corridors run from the Israeli border to the Mediterranean Sea. The move is part of an escalating IDF military campaign to press Hamas into accepting Israeli terms for a ceasefire and hostage release deal. Israel's pushing forward from the north and south, evacuating civilians towards central Gaza. We are now cutting off the strip, and we are increasing the pressure step by step so they will give us our hostages. The longer they refuse to give them up, the more the pressure will increase until they do, Netanyahu said. They kicked me. I don't know how long I was going before they kicked me.
Not accepting, hold on, because you're not accepting of the previous scripture, which is also haram.
And I challenge you. I said, tell me something that the United States auto designers have done. What innovative thing? There's nothing. There's nothing that they've done. BMW, Toyota, Volkswagen. They've been innovating while the United States sits on their asses and just think that they can just get by. And then when times get hard, they run to Daddy Warbucks, the government.
أعتقد أعرفك قبل سنة مسكرتي الأيام فلايت.
Assalamu alaikum. They kicked me from the room real quick. See, this is why I need more burners, because all the good prank rooms.
Boy, with my face on it, with the mustache and the cigarette, and I was like, bro, give me your Cash App. I threw $10, and then I never heard from him again.
Rachel, why do you keep going up and down the elevator? Yeah.
All right, give you back to the world famous chillism.
Story that he reads whilst he drives. And I understand reading little blurbs here and there, but this nigga says he reads entire books.
Welcome back to another episode of Low IQ Dumb People talking about nothing and wasting all their time because they're bored and have nothing better to do! AKA Chillism of the Mind Rot Virus of Clown House, starring TBI Nathan, TBI Concrete, and TBI Lion!
You know what I know. Oh, that's all right. Like they come you to he's a cunt, is what he is.
He comes in and tells
I'm not gonna put the PSA in the
chat.
chat.
On Clubhouse, while he wastes his life being on Clubhouse.
Y'all gonna let everybody else scream, but not him? That's so wild.
Ain't that a bitch?
That's just so wild to me.
He does it every single time.
Way more entertaining than Concrete.
Yeah, but so do you guys. You guys yell all fucking day, every day. Like
I am on game.
Not yelling. That's what I'm doing.
You're advocating for yelling.
Advocating, like accepting.
Listen. If you wanna like make fun of whatever you heard. Why are you such a crackhead? That's fine, right? But the whole point is you're advocating for the yelling.
I didn't know there was an I in advocating. I had no idea.
Pockets, I don't want to insult you, Pockets. Just chill out, okay? Concrete. Ain't nobody is annoying as shit. Oh my God. You're fucking
Is this what you do all day? This isn't what I do all day. This is what these people do all day.
Welcome.
I didn't appreciate that last statement, Pockets, because I am original, authentic, and organic. Therefore, the same with me. Nothing at all. Maybe these other people are characters in the room, but no, not me.
All right, Lion, I get it. Just he doesn't fit. I got it.
Personality.
Alright, I'd just like to express my condolences to all those that did not sell their shares.
Now you gonna let a faggot on stage.
You know, Dr. Rayabia, you called me the K word. You're a racist and you're a dirty dog, and I've seen the video footage from the bus. I've seen the video footage from the bus of you approaching those young girls. I've seen the video footage of you approaching those young girls on the bus.
They love talking finance. Which shares?
Tell me.
She said you could check any shares?
Do you think this is gonna help you get feet pics, you faggot ass nigga? I know that's what you're looking for, you faggot. No game ass having ass faggot. You no game having ass faggot. You no lyrics having ass faggot. You're not gonna get feet pics by doing this.
You ain't gonna get no feet pics. Yeah, the market crashed, baby. The stock market has crashed. The stock market has dumped 5%.
Hey, talking like me ain't gonna make you more manly, bitch. Yo, Ray, let's fix this. Nah, this faggot want feet pics.
I have a question for you.
I figured it out. Who does this nigga go and run and huddle with whenever they fucking leave? You ever notice that, King? Who this faggot goes and huddles with? We gonna fix this concrete. And now you wanna...
Hold on, I have a question for King. I'm so sorry, I have a question for King. King, did you sell your shares today after that 1,000-point drop?
Now he wants to
keep it.
Protect them and defend them. Right? He wanna use me. Oh, faggot ass, pussy ass nigga, nothing to stand on ass nigga.
Two random beasts on stage.
Stand on your own shit, you faggot bitch ass boy.
Weird. Never seen that happen.
I'm a contractor and I'm broke. Yeah, I'm only crypto. Oh, you when you say I'm broke, how much money do you think I got in the bank right now? Concrete, you're a broke. When you say I'm broke, how much money do you think I have in the bank right now? You are broke in the bed.
No, I don't like that, but I will say
you got enough to buy a Swisher.
I'm gonna fix this, right? What'd you say? We're gonna fix this, right? So, what is? Hey, don't come. Hey, whoever said it, don't come look at me. I know what the plot is. The plot is the lady. Yeah, what was the issue? Y'all was not going for this thing. Y'all are not going for this thing. So what's the issue? What's saying women like wrong? Like yeah, right. There should be wrong with this thing.
Now keep in mind, I do hate concrete.
There should be no concrete. That's not concrete.
Right now.
Concrete. Right, there should be zero.
It's not entirely unattractive.
Concrete is a bitch.
Like
you like to go I'm trying to see that. Right. That be up in this room.
It's not normal.
I'm gonna check him every time I come up in the room. You know what I'm saying?
I just wanted to say really quickly that the market did not crash. It actually went up.
Thank you, Lion.
Made money today.
Thank you.
There was no 1,000-point drop. The person that said that, remember this is the person that used to come in the room and tell everybody that Kamala Harris had already won and Donald Trump had given up or some shit like that. So anytime this person speaks, is really just the opposite. That's all.
That sounds cool.
Well, that makes it a debate.
So Ray.
What was that? What point were you making? Point taken, so that we can sort of like.
Yes. So Ray. So what's the issue with that?
One way policy. You guys are not.
You're lying. Your larynx out of your throat. Since you can't say that.
Yo, that 5%, you know how they had that 5%. Abraham Lincoln was black. You're lying.
Now that's something else we could investigate.
Oh, you motherfuckers, shut the fuck up.
Claim
I ain't talking about shit. Go wash your ass.
Is that a claim on the table? Abe Lincoln was black?
Absolutely.
Abe Lincoln.
Holy shit.
You forget like the whole idea of the story to teach you how to do right.
I have the entire
Potato Mansion?
potato fries and chips. And I get
A bad way of managing his money.
KB is crazy.
No, he had a bad way of managing his money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll tell you one thing. Like, I've never obviously every fucking time. That's the only thing he would call me for fucking money. And I never declined.
Put the down payment down.
Ladies, the title says it all. You gotta get your money up front, baby boo. Don't rely on a man's word. In the future, it don't exist. Get that money up. Assalamu alaikum. Free Bangladesh.
Ich mag dich.
For free.
Ich habe das gerade gehört.
Free Bangladesh.
Ey, ich liebe das.
Ich war gerade auf Laufbahn und hab das gehört. Ich hab das so hart gepumpt.
Ey, kennst du das Lied, dieses Girls Cry like and have the same respect for you as I want you.
Differences. That's what I'm saying. Like, we
That
got
whole generation is dead. That entire generation is gone.
No, but we still live in that construct, don't we?
But did I grow up being like a...
Do you still live in that construct? Do we still live in that construct of oppression and targeted people?
I think you do, because you won't get past it.
That's why we will never have unison, right? Because you're not willing to come to the table as a sincere man. You still want to hold your back.
Well, tough guy. You don't understand it. You don't need to stand it, say.
Gotta get some substance about your daughter. Yeah.
Well, you sound like an Irish traveler over here, like a kid.
You better shut your fucking mouth.
This is the song that never ends. Yes, it goes on and on, my friends. Some people started singing it on Clown House, and they never stop singing it forever. They're just ba da 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 da.
lamb chops.
Don't let this app change you, clowns. Stay clown forever. Clown life. Clown forever.
No, this guy's full of shit too. You can kick him.
No, Jacob is full of shit. This guy lives in his dad's basement in Joliet, and he hasn't been in Lakeview for 6 months to see his girlfriend because she don't want to see him no more because he can't even afford to pay for a dinner.
So he actually fucking knows.
What the fuck are you talking about?
So I used to live in Lakeview. I talked my life story. He knows it. I'm gonna shoot him in the head if he ever comes near me in real life. I'll tell you that much.
Oh my God! He just made a death threat. He just made a death threat. Book it. I'm sending it. I'm sending the clip to the FBI. I'm gonna let the FBI know that Joliet Jeff. He's a criminal. He's making death threats. He's making death threats on the internet. I'm calling the FBI.
Wasn't me. It was that dude right there. Shit.
Joliet Jacob is so tough. Joliet Jacob's a tough guy. Joliet.
This was called.
His dad was in the Marine Corps and he disowned Jacob. Jacob didn't want to join the service. His dad thinks he's a failure.
Well, this guy will get shot in the head if he comes to my house.
He's gonna shoot me in the head.
Yeah, you come to my house, I'll shoot you.
Why would I want to come to see the cockroach party in your basement?
Hey, comedy, make sure you follow the house if you're gonna be on stage.
Oh, my bad. Let me cash in that pink ticket.
Cash me fucking pink ticket, bloke.
How the hell do I join this room? I don't even see how. I clicked it. No, I'm already in this house or something.
So go out and come back fucking in, you know?
Oh, I see.
It's not rocket science.
Bada bing, bada boom.
You see how do you do that right there? You see?
See, I was clicking. I was clicking when I was sticking, and I forgot that I had already talked to Jacob.
I don't need no thank yous or anything, but you know, that's how you fucking do it, alright?
I got so distracted with this conversation with Dr. Jacob that I forgot I was clicking around.
Was you clicking around or was you thinking around?
Clickety clack, don't go have barbecue at Jacob's house. He might blow your fucking brains out.
Just you, because you tell people my address.
I tell people your address. No, I don't.
You tell people where I live, okay?
No, I do not. No, I do not. I have no idea where you live, Jacob. There's only 1 million people that live in Joliet. Hey, pass me that coleslaw. Boom!
So this fucking guy over here thinks he's cute. He looks up my family members. He looks up their phone numbers. He looks up everything about me, where I work, all this fucking stuff. Again, if you want to meet me, come to my house. I'll shoot you in the fucking head. I'm not fucking right, you know?
I'm telling you, Dad, what you're saying on the internet. I'm texting your dad right now, Jacob. I'm texting your dad what you're saying. I'm telling your dad what you're saying on Clown Nuts. You know your dad's not going to like this, Jacob.
What is that fucking tell his fucking dad, dude?
My dad's 67 years old.
Dad, Jacob's dad comes on this app all the time with Jacob.
Pops is still active. Pops is not active right now. He might be still active.
Your dad isn't going to like this kind of speech, Jacob. This is making death threats on the internet.
My house, I'll shoot you in the head.
I'm telling your dad what you're going to say. He's not going to appreciate this.
Going with the same fucking story you guys talked about before. You guys switched it up now, or I'm just too fucking high. And, yeah,
don't let this app change you. Remain a clown. What is the source of all clowns?
The source of all clowns. You mean like the association? I would say like a circus, a carnival. You know, kids party. You know.
No, the source of all clowns is the super secret clown sorcerer at the center of the clown universe that created Clown House.
What the fuck you telling me? Stop busting my chops here now, y'all. You got a whole fucking secret fucking cult of clowns and shit.
Just look at it.
Fucking dudes running
Just
around.
look at it.
Who the fuck is looking at it, y'all?
Just look at it.
Looking at it. And you need to call fucking Fitting and tell me.
Just look at it.
Because he owe me some fucking money. I want my fucking money. He's not picking up the fucking phone, you know?
Are you doing an impression of me?
Would you look at it? Just look at it.
Shut up, dude. All you do is fucking talk. The fuck are you? Deadpool over here?
Jacob, where are you from?
Chicago. He knows where I live.
Well, I didn't ask you. Oh, that.
Jacob, Chicago, Jacob.
Now you just got comedy. He docks my hands.
Hey, what up, nigga? What's good, bro? Make sure you follow the house, gang. Get that pink ticket off.
tattoo.
Assalamu alaikum, Habibi, Habibdi, my Muslim brothers and sisters. Hello, how are you all?
Guys, honey, do you want to read this out loud that I just posted? It's actually quite funny.
أنا عشان قاعد يطعنه يعني.
Lala, Habibdi.
I just read it. What the fuck?
Lala, Habibdi.
Bro, my dad lives around QC size, man. I must have been on there. Must have saw, yeah. Oh, fuck them years ago.
If you see them, is it still on site?
100 billion, gazillion, trillion, billion, infinity percent.
Well, obviously, what the fuck?
I don't know. You gonna change his life.
But then again, some people can grow up and just.
That did not change my life, bro. That did.
Yeah. Living her best life, like she would not. She's been celibate for like 2 years. I know she would not. She just can't. She knows like.
One thing else one thing I can't stand about these bitches is some of these bitches want to try to downplay a bitch for having hoochie coochie. One thing about me is I love me some Sexy Red, okay? You know what I love about Sexy Red? Sexy Red already knew when she was fucking 17, when she got her heart broken at 17, that she wanted to be a thot. So what if you want to go out there and show that hoochie coochie? I ain't saying going out here sucking niggas up and fucking and all this other shit. What I'm saying is, bitch, do what the fuck you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it. Okay? Fuck what these old ass niggas talking about, because the older that they get, the sicker they look. But when these black women get older, for some goddamn reason, you bitches start looking younger.
But that ain't no strategy for getting money with the coochie hoochie. That's just spreading the hoochie coochie and not having a good strategy for getting all the money with the hoochie coochie.
Comedy, I don't have time for your trolling today.
I'm just saying, give out good advice and help that hoochie coochie get the money.
How the fuck you gonna tell me to give out good advice and you got a whole damn frog on your PTR?
I'm just saying, I seen it done. I see some girls work that shit. Now they live in Dubai and drive a Bugatti and got a $5 million condo.
Yeah, you got to sit your ass in that goo. Sit your ass in timeout. This is the weird shit I be talking about. You niggas must not have no hobbies. The fact that y'all gotta get y'all asses on here and troll, fucking do all this. That's why you got a bunch of niggas sitting over there on TikTok and Instagram wearing wigs and shit for fucking comedy. Instead of y'all coming out of the closet and say, you know what, I really want to be a woman. Some of these motherfuckers actually rest in their femininity, okay? They out here going to go get these procedures done, okay? That's why a lot of you niggas can't tell the difference between a man and a woman. Sitting over there talking about, well, I got to see the coochie first to determine if this is a man or a woman. And then I learned from the other day, Elsa, these niggas is talking about the more makeup these bitches wear. When these bitches wear makeup, it reminds me of them being masculine. I said, oh, shit.
More soft type.
So Monica, I'll tell you this.
From the inferior.
From the investments that I made with the positions that I'm doing, I bring in a consecutive get every month somewhere around $10,000 to $12,000 in investments.
This is not a breakfast room.
This is not a breakfast room.
At best, right? And I treat toasters to
Cappuccino mask, because I did promise.
Way too much sugar. Definitely a good treat, you know, like sitting down, a glass of milk and toaster strudel.
You drink milk?
Yeah, I do.
I do.
Oh my
It's
God.
like,
You also drink cum
it's
too,
like
you
that.
bitch ass nigga.
It's not.
Faggot ass little nigga.
As a black African Nigerian woman, the idea of my lactose intolerance, self-drinking of glass of milk.
I'm not really like.
You be doing FGMs on yourself.
Milk doesn't fuck me up. Cheese
You
doesn't
cut
fuck
that
me
Twitter
up.
and sauce nigga.
Like, no, I'm not allergic to
Bitch ass
anything.
nigga, you.
Wow.
Yeah, you don't like you shit.
No.
That shit,
Sit on the toilet, motherfucker.
As long as you want to get back to your
Yeah, well, I don't give a damn what you talking about now. Listen, I ain't even listening. I'm just going, every time I hear a fucking voice, I'm gonna go in on you bitch nigga now. You got my attention. This all you want is your dad's attention. You got it. Hey, son, you the damn attention.
A better name than Crash Out Wednesday.
Yeah, that's all it is. And I'm gonna give it to you. It's gonna help me get across the street. It's gonna entertain everybody. It's gonna annoy some people. Son, you want my attention? What you want to say? Go ahead, get it out.
The crash out to intellectual discussion ratio is off, right? Typically, we have slightly.
Welcome back to Angry Black Men Complaining and Arguing About Nothing, wasting all their time every day on a social audio chat app called Clown House, where low IQ dumb people who are bored talk about nothing day after day, 7 days a week, 30 more days a month. Unbelievable, lying the lying. Why don't you ever have a mod green button? Lie because you're a chatterbox. You don't shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, you chatterbox motherfucker. You never shut the fuck up. Try to meditate, go to the gym, read a book, have a fucking glass of water. Why are you always on this room in this chillism causing brain rot for countless hundreds of people talking about nothing? Go back to Stony Island and go have lunch with Louis Farrakhan, your favorite Mexican liar fraud. Everything you project is just repetitious bullshit propaganda from Louis Farrakhan. Did you know Louis Farrakhan is a scam artist? And you're a low IQ moron repeating all his bullshit? You are a stupid motherfucking chatterbacks lying the line in the clown house in the chittism brain rot room. I am complete. Don't call us. We'll call you. Thank you all very little. I hope I have helped you learn the truth of the earth. And I gave you a good math lesson. So maybe one day you can go to Mars with Elon Musk. And we're going to pay this debt down real quick because Lion is such a hard worker. Thank you all very little for this opportunity to entertain you. My comedy show is complete.
Yeah, I'm right here. Are you familiar with Rick Owens?
He don't know shit.
Designer?
He don't know the damn thing.
Designer, yeah.
Louis was born in the shit, but
Come on.
somewhere in October.
I'm like Brian, I have to focus to listen to you and
All
respond.
they had was a bowl of acid
So I just look at his line.
and blood.
And
That's all they had to eat.
all the designers, like I think of Kanye as somebody who wants to be like a Rick Owens, and for some reason you can tell the differences between like a truly professional, talented person doing art and somebody who's an imitator, like dilettante. You know what I'm saying? Which do you think Kanye is?
Nah, he don't know anything about that. He don't even know nothing about Kanye. You're talking to a dirty
That's so crazy. First in the fashion.
You are talking to a dirty, scruffy African, a black, nasty oil slick on the floor. That's just that ass fella. You don't know what you're talking about, man. Why are you even talking to him? Why don't you talk to somebody else?
The whole point is Kanye, I thought was innovative, and then my homegirl, who's like really steeped in fashion, she started telling me how he stole everything from other people.
That's not
even,
true.
Huh?
That's not true.
I can't defend the claim. You know what I mean? I'm just reporting what the claim is.
Your concrete, the fashion
No, see, what happened was everybody was claiming he was stealing their stuff, but in reality, they were stealing from him. That's the real truth.
Getting off concrete, I was wondering if you were going to try to direct, or is it only going to be
Welcome back to another episode of Motormouth Lion, Chatterbox Lion, who's never gonna shut up for the next hour. He's gonna waste all your time talking about nothing, defending Ku Klux Klan, Kanye West, and his black hood in a rundown ghetto, and motherfucking whacking like in that lot. Where the fuck was Kanye filming that hood-ass podcast? Where was he, Crenshaw? What kind of a fucking apartment was that? This is getting crazy. Somebody need to 5150 that boy and give him some motherfucking, some lithium or something, because Kanye is going to flip the kook. Somebody take your medication, Kanye. It ain't the Jews that's your problem, Kanye. You the problem, Kanye. Kanye is the problem. Kanye, you gotta accept personal responsibility, Kanye. Come on, Lion. Same goes for you, Dr. Lion. Gotta accept personal responsibility for being here 7 days a week, running your mouth, wasting everybody's time like a chatterbox.
Yeah, Kanye West stole everything he got, even his name. His mama gave him that shit. So,
I cannot believe they're letting me just talk over everyone. I think it's because I'm roasting Lion.
The foot sock, the sock shoe, or whatever shit. I thought that was him. But I think that other people can't with him. Hold up. Yo, I think that sock shoe shit was the Balenciaga.
Listen, y'all. One point I'd like to make, based on the conversation with Ye in the leather Klans hood from yesterday. Remember when the guy who made $2 million just
This is her shtick.
PDF collection of his young creatives for Kanye?
Her voice
to
really
look over?
stands out in this room.
If Kanye's stealing intellectual property, wouldn't that be convenient that he couldn't build a PDF?
Her PTR is of a groundhog that says,
He was saying,
ha ha ha,
kids
yes.
in New York wearing, give me pictures
Learn,
of
burn,
that.
grow, repeat.
Like 300 photos.
Which is where the inspiration comes from, right? When you talk about Ralph Simmons, you talk about.
We're at 42 likes on YouTube, 10 viewers. This one I think is going to have like maybe 3,000 viewers.
No, he was talking, I think something
I just want to let all the Clown House Chillers and cast members know that the YouTube channel has reached a huge success. We're at 3,000 live viewers. You're all on YouTube. Congratulations, Chillism. We made it!
Yeah, I'm just waiting for Concrete to direct like he feels whenever I speak. Because he doesn't seem to feel the need to direct when there's other things happening just when I'm talking.
Well, yeah,
that's what's happening.
All y'all gotta do is just tell that bitch ass nigga to shut the fuck up when being talking.
Yo, hug up. What were you saying, bro?
Yo, can you guys hear me now?
Shut the fuck up, bitch nigga.
Sounds that you are well practiced at. Do you practice in the mirror?
This is crazy.
Do you work in the mirror?
What were you gonna say, hug up?
Yeah, so like when artists look at other artists and they can pay homage, it's not necessarily stealing, right? Especially in fashion, because Rick Owens and Ralph Simmons have been doing streetwear, leatherwear, and a lot of these avant-garde pieces since the 70s, 80s.
You really can't hear him? Nah.
Hey, shut the fuck up. I already told you now, Louis. Shut up, boy. Shut up, boy. I done already told you. You ain't ever gonna be able to speak in this motherfucker again, goddamn.
I saw Ralph Simmons as well.
Shut your ass up, boy. Damn. Nobody wanna hear shit from you, nigga.
Lion, you a bell pepper queen, Lion. Stop being a bell pepper queen. Stop it.
Yo, but I like.
What is going on in sometimes?
Everywhere since total minimalism.
I have finally cracked the code of chillism. You guys have accepted the fact that you are all degenerates and you are all here wasting your time and you know it. And this is a sick mind rot virus that Nathan and Tyler are all laughing at you now. You got the bell pepper queen and the TBI king wasting your time.
That it's
So concrete. Kanye West. And you can look at some of his interviews where he literally breaks down all the way to the threading on some of his products and how like the inspiration, a lot of it comes from the Old Testament scripture and the way that he puts fabric together and makes certain items. Now, that is not to say that he hasn't collaborated, right? He has collaborated with people. For instance, on this past interview he did with academics, the actual woman he worked with, that is the foundation for the skin product that Kim Kardashian is known for. Kim didn't make that, Kanye did. And Kanye did it with the white woman who was at the very end of that interview. So I'm not saying that Kanye hasn't worked with individuals who make certain,
but it's still fuck you.
Who's mad? Who's mad?
JP, I'm gonna fuck you dry, bitch.
Oh.
Big one, bitch. Big one, free turn. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Tell him, fumigatory. Bila. Do that shit again. I love that shit. Do it again for me. Bila, you fucking psychopath bitch. Do it again. Oh,
I didn't create that. This girl does that on this app, so I imitate her.
I just posted my picture, man. I just posted a new picture. Y'all can take a screenshot if you want. Go ahead, because I know y'all going to try to...
Who kicked Try? Was that you, DJ Pooh? I'm gonna pack you up. I'm gonna take you to Subway and take a fucking tuna fish sandwich and a big slice of fucking Munchkin cheese and some motherfucking...
Sam, I don't know why you think... I don't know why you...
No, he was finna say some wild shit.
Oh,
He was finna say... No, he said, I'm finna take a wait. Whoa.
Yeah, I know, bro. He's a weirdo.
That's another invitation to this guy. When he packs you up, he pretends you're a sandwich. His name is DJ Pooh, I think. Or DJ... Yeah.
Well, it's diabolical, though.
Her own person?
This is called Are Black Women Colonized and Black Men Defeated in the 21st Century?
No, you can't do that. Because to them, those women couldn't do that, but they could.
So, I'm not negating what you're saying. I'm just saying one thing didn't come before the other. A lot of people look at patriarchy as some kind of instilled social doctrine, when really what all it is the natural order of things with the anatomy of man and the anatomy of woman.
I can't say that's the natural order because I don't come from a people where that's the natural order of things. We're matrilineal.
No, we're not.
You can't say that. Who is? You don't even know who you're speaking to say no, we're not. I come from matrilineal people.
Does somebody not come from matrilineal people? Does anybody here alive not have a mother? Anybody? Anybody?
That's the culture that I come from.
Culture.
Patrilineal societies, for the most part, came from across the world.
I see what he's saying.
To other places. Even in Africa, there are tribes.
So wait, the black community is a matrilineal community?
Matrilineal. So, I'm not saying it's a one-size-fits-all, but to say it's the natural order of things, you can't say that when you don't come
This is
from
called
that.
D Block.
Some of these things hold, that's some real shit. So, because energy attracts energy. So it's like, it just depends on like where you at and like where you, like what you studying up on. And
So
that
what's
should
your
be real.
energy? Since y'all be fucking with it, what's your energy?
What do you mean?
What's your energy?
No, I don't understand the question. I mean, I don't understand what that
I'm
means.
just saying, like, what's your energy though? Like, I don't know nothing about it. I'm just asking, like, what's your energy?
Man, girl, you don't know the truth of the earth, baby. You don't even know math. Density attract energy, baby. Energy don't attract energy. He was laughing his ass off that they kicked me. Okay.
I mean, like, get the fucking mouth.
Listen, man, everybody hates these fucking Anglo-Saxons. Everyone. They're
Everybody hates a white people?
Well, they're the actual demise of America. Put it like that.
No, this is make America great again. Make America wealthy again. Make America happy again.
When was it though? They created so much. The dates and the dates and whatever. When it was great and when it was happy.
Don't worry about it. Listen. Don't worry about it. Look at it like this. They are smart. They created so much technology advances. All these things. Now when Russia and China fucks them and butt fucks them, we can just rape them for their fucking knowledge. We can rape them for everything they taught us.
I'm not worried. People like us.
We can rape them for everything they taught us.
Goddamn Russians. You fuck with the damn Russians.
No, I love them. I love to.
I know. Like I told you, I
rape them for everything they taught us.
If some shit go down, she's gonna take us with her. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't give a fuck. They're out by people. They're done. They're done. They're fucking done, man.
Fuck. What the fuck?
They're done. No, I'm telling you, white people are done. Anglo-Saxons are fucked.
Oh, you know what? It's always over. If everybody get on board and everything, get on the same page, then everything will be good. But until then, hey, it is what it is. Well, and I hate the shit, and I need like this.
I don't even talk with them in public. They come into my spaces. I break check them, looking them up
It's like I'm interacting with client stuff.
Put fear in their body. Make them look down. Walk away, bitch. Walk away.
You said what now? Do what?
I'm just saying that shit I do in real life to these people, man.
But I mean, when you gotta interact with them, if you're buying something.
Welcome back to another room of low IQ dumb people talking about nothing and wasting all their time because they're super bored and super stupid.
I'm gonna get the hell off
Hey, listen. He's not a dickhead like the other motherfucker. That other motherfucker is stupid. He's emotional. That's why he brought comedy back here. Take over.
Who's the other motherfucker?
Agent 004, this Agent 005. I'm telling you.
What the heck? I don't see this. That's why
Breaking news! The United States of America has announced tariffs on the following countries: Brazil, 10%; Pakistan, 30%; Sri Lanka, 44%; Switzerland, 31%; Cambodia, 50%; South Africa, 30%; United Kingdom, 10%; China, 34%; India, 26%; European Union, 20%; Israel, 17%; minimum tariff on all imports, 10%.
What the fuck wrong with Oh shit! What's wrong with you, man? Damn. Yo. Oh, what the fuck wrong with you? I need to say 34%. Yes. I knew he was gonna say China. And I don't even know who the fuck that nigga is right there. They ain't come out saying this. I still don't know who the fuck it is. Anyway. These niggas be having some weird ass names. Your daddy loves me. See, it's when they be starting like to change their names, they got booted.
I don't like Midwest FBI agents. That's why it's funny. I might, like I said, man. I want to work my way back out east. People are nuts, man.
For what?
No, the FBI agent that was just in here from the Midwest. He's a dickhead, man.
Who's Jacob Joliet? Who you talking talking about Jacob Joliet?
Yeah, 004.
Ah, speak of the devil, the FBI has returned.
Hey, y'all remember that shit? No, man. I was talking about 007.
007. Hey, Jacob, what's going on, Jacob?
I don't know. Was it a Dreamcast or... Nah, y'all don't know nobody.
Jacob, what's going on, man? Jacob is a fentanyl victim, man.
Jacob canceled the summer barbecue party because he made too many death threats to all the guests.
Jacob got holes in his brain, man. From that fentanyl. All right, here we go. Let's dance.
The roast of Jacob.
How can we save Jacob? Oh, Jacob doesn't want to be saved.
Just call him Israel.
You remember Jeremy? Yeah, will you be another drum song instead of Jeremy? It's gonna be Jacob.
Jacob's code name is Israel.
Please don't. Why do you care about Israel?
Why don't you care about the law?
This nigga's crazy.
They don't give a fuck about us. Shit. Fuck.
We're live on YouTube and we've got over 3,000 people watching the comedy show live. Thank you all very little. I'll send you a penny in the mail.
What the hell is wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
We just got another check from Procter & Gamble to sponsor the show for $10,000. Thank you, Procter & Gamble.
Wow, yo. Hey,
I want to also shout out our super sponsor of the year. It is the Smoke Detector Alarm Corporation, because there's so many beeping smoke detectors on this app that we're shipping wholesale smoke detectors with batteries that have a minimum life of 3 years because of all the lithium deposits that we collected in Afghanistan. So we can help all the American replace the batteries and the smoke detectors in their house from east to west, north to south. Thank you all for coming to your free smoke detector replacement program. Ding.
Yo, Matters, who the fuck is LJ?
I thought that one was going to kill it.
Larry Hoover, don't say his name on this app. Don't you dare bring up Larry's name on this app, Jacob.
Next time they come in, Jacob, don't be Mexico. Don't be Somebody in the Matrix. In St. Louis, nigga, not Mexico.
Okay, who else can we prank?
He's taking a big risk with you.
Yeah.
And the game continues.
Oh, that was a creepy voice. Hello.
Who is the puppet master? Excuse me, I have a question I want to ask the room. Who is the puppet master?
He's watching a video right now.
I'll be that girl. Is the one that's
Who is the puppet master of the puppet master?
Don't you remember me?
She look like she want to die soon.
Who? You remember me?
I remember you, Dr. Lin. How are you?
Man, you know I do. Come on, man. Stop playing. Yeah, you know. Oh, yeah.
What's on everybody's mind?
I'm trying to steal niggas' daddies and become their stepmom.
Oh shit.
You looking to use that hoochie coochie to make a withdrawal from the bank?
No, hey, look.
You looking to use that coochie hoochie to make a withdrawal from the bank? Or you gonna take out a credit card?
Oh, credit
Hey, Swiper, no Swiper. Hey, Swiper. This shit right now. You trying to swipe some shit.
Hoochie coochie.
I see some baby deers eating the snow. It's so cute.
Ooh, go feed them some peanuts.
Where you at? Hell no. It's just snow.
Alright, we'll try to prank Chills one more time, then that's the end of the prank show.
Suit, a Lord Piano suit, any day of the week. You can get them at thrift stores and then rework it. You know what I bought at a thrift store, which I thought was a steal because of the condition of Brooks Brothers suit. It wasn't that bad. Older Brooks Brothers stuff is actually really good. Brooks Brothers collections. And J. Crew, what you think about J. Crew? No. LL Bean? Those are all fast fashion, man. What about LL Bean? All the same shit?